On this once home, heroine really tightly got hit. What? That way she turned out to be on the couch, under her, was located confused stranger. Young woman, confidently having looked on lying under her man, suddenly suggested to him, marry on her. The heroine name is Eugene Ray, to her 28 years, and she for the first time v life, turns out v such situations. Later couple seconds young woman, very became embarrassed, and already wanted say what not this had in view of, however to her interrupted words, men. That touched her hand, asked, exactly Eugene wants this, I after said, what agree. Heroine was happy, not believing his words. In given moment, same young woman was on date 5 cafe, and was strongly surprised proposal, his own interlocutor. Elderly man, inclined. Eugene go v marriage. Registry directly now, and not linger. Young woman, not understood, how her grandmother could think about it, what she agree, go out get married for 50 years old. Old man. Man came v anger, shouting, what really heroine is going to here so just leave. Having lost patience, Eugene answered, what came here, not by his will, her just forced, and once already companion. So wants marry, that let looking for whom, that his own age. Young woman continued, having said, what I heard, what at men, there is wife and daughter, Mr. President, already too much greedy. Heroine asked, maybe, he wanted start affair with her grandmother. After all, they so are suitable friend to a friend. Smiling, Eugene waved to a man by hand, and wished good luck v search. For heroine arrived, car black-haired young woman asked, how at her business? Eugene answered, what now will explode? Irritated filming earrings with their own ears. Suddenly, rang out call, to the girl called grandmother, indignantly speaking, what heroine came down, with mind and not understands, whom insulted. Eugene answered, what with mind came down obviously, not she. After all, this grandmother is trying. Bring together my granddaughter, with 50 years old, a man. Irritated woman abandoned call. A heroine already. I was thinking about it. Find whom anything. To buy fast go out, get married. Eugene was executive director wedding salon Violet Walk rumors. What couples concluded marriage through this salon never not will break up. However herself, young woman was one all alone. And I was thinking about it, urgently, go out, get married. Assistant Eugene, not understood. Seriously lie she, however heroine answered, what no one normal human, not will agree on. This just so, however at her was many money, which beautiful young boy will refuse from them. When heroine came out from cars, she heard, what secretary said, what forgot, oh somehow report. Tomorrow, V Salon will be carried out filming dramas. This good advertising, that's why assistant agreed. A also figured it out with scheduled clients, and even organized for Eugene day off. Young woman I thought, what once there will be takeoff series, that this her chance. Already, V at home, Eugene met grandmother, said, what by heroine, not will come out get married, that may be with her not talk. Young woman repeated your own, no, however woman stated, what her not interested opinion, granddaughters. Grandmother said, what ungrateful parents Eugene died, and all this time she raised heroine one, that's why to add her V debt. Woman continued, having named girl such same ungrateful how, and her father. Grandmother said, just go and apologize before themes a man. Eugene same answered, what not will this do? Woman already wanted hit heroine, however her interrupted sound doors. In room burst in out of breath young woman, having asked, what Eugene again, did something wrong. However to answered, what this her not concerns. Having heard this, young woman straightway rushed to grandma. By heroine irritated on her watched, she also asked at Eugene, how past date with old man. Grandmother hugged girl for cheeks, having named her cutie, and reminded, what many drink it is forbidden, after all this harmful. On what last answered, what this wedding her girlfriends, and she congratulated there from total hearts. In head, Eugene ironically flashed by thoughts, oh volume, how great, maybe get drunk to blackouts on stranger wedding. Having looked on heroine, young woman, having done puppy eyes, asked, not is going to lie grandmother give out her, get married for old uncle. After all she, not loves guys, with big difference v age. Woman answered, what prepared suitable party for his beloved granddaughter, and stretched out to the girl photo. The groom turned out to be darling actor girls, however at him was more four elders sisters. Latest words, oh volume, what she precious grandma's granddaughter, which to not will allow unsuccessfully go out, get married, wounded heart Eugene. Heroine turned around and left, hearing how woman screams to her what she should call to the chairman Peters and apologize v flow this week's. Taking pen doors, Eugene thought about it. Really, this not disgusting. After all, Audrey and she both granddaughters women. However, heroine was, for the last one, as if stranger human. Young woman collapsed on bed, not understanding whose same such this actor, Andrew Will. Taking telephone hands, I searched him information v on the internet, and saw beautiful young man. Eugene thought about it. What this be beloved like this wonderful a man. How he, although once heroine wanted, to who that fell in love her. In the morning, next days, young woman already was on work. Suddenly, for her back rang out voice assistants, surprised themes. What Eugene came v salon, 5, mine day off, however fast I guessed it. What she quickly ran away, after another one skirmishes. Heroine saw on door's sign, which said, what premises only for staff, and asked about this at assistants. Lowe answered, what filming team promised pay extra, if allow them to use to all shop. Angry Eugene answered, what despite on this, it is forbidden was here, so just give away office general directors. Lowe said, what on third floor should be free, and can take a rest there. Also promised call, when will end. Part filming v in the office heroines. Having arrived on third floor v fitting room, Eugene noted, what there enough cozy, with closed curtains. Suddenly, young woman heard noise for his back, and after thinking, what this Lowe, asked, why she so fast came. However there turned out to be man, spoke to whom, that by phone, what not once, go on date blindly. Heroine, I thought, what apparently, now forced marriage, for children became v fashion, and stranger seems, same passed through much. Man, spoke by phone, asked remind, how name is girl. Suddenly, Eugene heard familiar name, Audrey Dallas. Young woman not understood, really, this to the most Audrey Dallas, which she knows. Eugene not understood, what at all is happening. Lost in thought, she understood, what if recall dialogue, that before her, was that most actor, Andrew Will. In store, should were pass filming, with him v main roles. Eugene same remembered words, Audrey date with old man, again getting irritated. Heroine, not understood, why young woman always happy, herself she should suffer. Eugene I thought, shouldly she replay Audrey and grandma. After couples minutes thoughts, heroine firmly decided, what need to take guy, to she understood this feeling. Opening wide curtain, young woman appealed to Andrew, to the vacationer on the couch. Approaching closer, she heard how boy apologizing, said, what not new volume, what here there is, who that more. Suddenly, Eugene climbed on him above and grabbed for tie. Being full confidence, heroine asked, wants Lee Andrew will marry on her. Boy, taking her for hand, suddenly asked where would she wanted play wedding. Suddenly, Eugene understood what she does and became embarrassed. Young woman moderated mine ardor, bark myself for that what did, after thinking what really came down with mind. Having said that, what to her? Very it's a pity, heroine bowed and hurried leave room, not gave in words, Andrew. Having seen V in the corridor low, Eugene hurried to her. Assistant not understood what happened and why heroine was all V sweat. Young woman asked at Julia, what same her now do? However interlocutor, all more not understood, v how same case. Having put hands on shoulders, assistant, Eugene said, what large screwed up, more accurately exactly got hit. Low. All same asked, what had happened. A young woman answered, what only, what did offer, and ran away. Julia remembered what Eugene said, how will find first counter for weddings, and on in itself, business did this. Heroine more became embarrassed. However, assistant answered, what admires to her, however young woman said, what low just not knows to whom she, this suggested. Julia laughed, having answered, what always was near, and already saw all what can, however her interrupted words, Eugene. Heroine name Andrew Willa, how very surprised assistant. Low even asked again, really, this exactly that, Andrew Will, whom she knows. Young woman answered, what this he, a what the most. The main thing, boy agreed on her offer, hung long silence, Eugene crying, asked jokely this, and all Lee will fine. Low said to the girl, stop a tea answered, what same thinks, what she went nuts, once this did. Eugene I thought, what, despite on that, what her, got it grandmother, and Audrey, she not should was do offer, here so. Assistant started calm down the boss, having said, not worry so strongly, themes more. By rumors fans, actor, not will become accept confession. To that same, Eugene ran away straight away, after offers. By opinion, low, this seems like on simple prank, that's why not costs, so strongly worry. Heroine came down, however was one detail, which she missed from view. On next day, office, Eugene knocked assistant. Young woman calmly saw coffee, having asked, what happened at low? To answered, what Andrew Will wants, talk with heroine. These words shocked Eugene so, what her drink iso mouth poured out back cup. When last at night, young woman came back home. She could finally relax after such terrible days. She remembered how from for this situations to her, had to hide from look Andrew. Finally Eugene was free, and could more not think about this. However, thoughts again were returning to her. Heroine not understood. How can be such a fool, and why is happening exactly with her? Really, this necessarily must was be Andrew. Suddenly, Eugene tore out from thoughts, voice Audrey, calling grandma. Young woman cried, hugs, women volume. What Andrew Will offended her. Eugene I heard, how Audrey said, what actor even, and not thinks a wedding, she to him at all, not interesting. Crying young woman shouted, what Andrew at all said, in love another, home heroine same I thought, really at him, who that there is. By Audrey, not knew, what now do, after all she told to all about wedding with him, grandmother calmed down, her, having said, what similar Togo not costs. Eugene came back. By my room, suddenly, her visited disturbing thoughts. Really Andrew will vive. That moment spoke her. News, volume. What actor wants meet? Shocked heroine. Her guesses confirmed. Young woman asked again. Assistant, right Lee she her heard. Low same answered, what, wanted would. To this was not so, and stretched out pack napkins. After, continued, what Andrew wants see each other by very personal to the point. How finally amazed Eugene. Jumping up from for table, young woman asked hand over, what she all day busy, and her not will on place, low I thought, what this will pointless. However, under intently with a glance, bosses, all same decided dial number, and call. Leaning back on armchair, Eugene decided, what better to her at all, not cross with actor. Low called out heroine, speaking, what all decided, Andrew Will said, what all understands. After added, what last will do after lunch. Eugene not understood, what her such need to do, so that this all stopped. Young woman came out on parking, and leaned against on trunk his cars. With irritation exhaling, heroine I thought, what more, so not maybe. In independence from Togo, in how many actor will appoint meeting, she should was any at the price, run away with her. After thinking about it, what Andrew lied, and at all not will come, Eugene was delighted, however, not noticed, how with backs to her who that came up. Young woman having heard familiar voice, turned around, hiding for radiant smile your own embarrassment. Actor lowered, with face's mask, and said, what was afraid Togo, what heroine his not finds out, however ta to happiness, and name named. Having opened face, Andrew addressed to Eugene. By name, how called misunderstanding young woman, she asked, how boy found out this. Good-naturedly smiling, hero answered, what needed know, name Togo human, with which engaged. Embarrassed, Eugene asked, really he here, to see each other with her. On what boy asked question, 5 answer, having said, really there is other options. Young woman already wanted avoid meetings, having answered, what now very busy. However, Andrew pulled her for collar, asking wait. Hero asked, how Eugene maybe run away, when case already got it to engagements, how called not small shock at her. Andrew wanted make sure, what they already all decided, it was worth it hurry up. Both worked v such industries, where rumors are spreading very fast, that's why should have be maximum unnoticeable. Young woman I thought, what Andrew wants, all cancel, and asked at Togo, wants Lee, he all settle. But instead of Togo, to refuse, boy said, what accepts application Eugene. Heroine was v stupor, after thinking, what that not so, she and at all not understood, what is happening. Andrew reminded Eugene, what this she did to him offer, a boy his with pleasure accepts. To the girl wanted think, what hero just jokes. Having asked, suddenly, she just joked, Eugene expected answer. Andrew said, what this not maybe be, after all, then he very get upset. Boy continued, asking not will become young woman play with his feelings. Eugene not could believe, what got caught v trap sincere male love. Young woman I thought, what this fully her guilt. After all she used human for revenge, and now necessary, was take responsibility. Eugene, apologizing, said what was v that day, not v to yourself, and led myself recklessly. Suddenly, Andrew asked, really she without mind from him. Heroine not understood, how can was here exactly this? Eugene irritated answered, what then just was inadequate. A actor noted, what she all same this did. Young woman continued, having said, what was vulnerable, how mentally, so, and physically, Andrew same stated, what she should carry responsibility for their words. Folded hands, v asking gesture, Eugene appealed to the actor, speaking, to that did view, what not heard her. Andrew answered, what already not will be able to, after all afterwards heroines. He not slept all night from unrest. Young woman I thought, what guy-faced demon, calling to confessions, and asked myself, not be conducted on such. Eugene said, what should be to the hero, often are recognized, with how last agreed, however for the first time this excited. Young woman all same apologized, having answered, what this was only spontaneous impulse. Andrew same said, what this big disappointment, after all he hoped, what today will find finally your own happiness. However, now seems, this will remain only his dreams. Eugene answered, what understands interlocutor, AV soul, was happy, what all finally decided. Andrew again, addressed to heroine, having said, what once already they not can get married, that can, although would meet, later sometime. Already in the office, Eugene, her assistant sincerely was happy, having asked, really her to. The boss confessed myself Andrew will. Lo, I thought about very romantic scene. To her, not it was patient to know, what same was then. Eugene same answered, what boy just left, so how to him called manager. However herself, heroine not knew, will end Lee all on this, she remembered moment, when Andrew suggested to her meet. Young woman fell v stupor, not knowing what answer. However, actor distracted telephone call, apologizing, he left. Lo, not understood, for what then Andrew at all. was looking for Eugene. Once myself ran away by affairs. Assistant, I counted, what need to, was appoint dates, or same do, what, that more interesting, for example, touch, kiss, a maybe, and what that more. Poking folder V face low, Eugene interrupted reflections and said that now same stop. Heroine said, assistant, not pronounce such V the Saint place. Lowe assumed maybe Andrew Will found out what Eugene's sister Audrey, however young woman objected, having said, what at them different surnames, themes more, she never not was on to the public, her always hid. Young woman was stranger, beloved grandmothers, and grandfather's was native granddaughter Audrey Dallas. Eugene same wore another surname, Ray. This was so unfair. In childhood young woman dreamed wear surname Dallas. Suddenly, Eugene, I thought, what now more never not, will meet actor, main part filming ended. But heroine interrupted call phone assistance. Lowe said, with stranger, however suddenly appealed. Two to the boss, having said, what producer filming teams wants, continue take off. Eugene, not understood, what devil, after all it's over more yesterday. Julia same answered, what this request? Andrew, he wants reshoot some frames. Assistant, smiling continued, having said, what, seems, actor V, last once, not joked with girl. News o volume, what filming will continue, by their absolutely all not will suit, upset Eugene. Andrew Will already was heading V salon. Eugene sat for computer passionate work. Suddenly Andrew asked girl, for a long time, Lee Ta wears glasses, or put on there specially for him. Irritated heroine, not understood, how to him at all could come V had similar thought. And at all, what devil Andrew Allmore was located V her in the office. Suddenly, Eugene asked, how actor bribed girl. That at first, not understood. Oh, how is coming speech. However, heroine clarified, what speaks, oh Julia Lowe. Assistant promise guard entrance, V cabinet girls. Smiling, Andrew answered, what gave Julia autograph? Eugene grinned, having said, what is this every day? Suddenly, V cabinet burst in Julia, having answered, what this signature, and close not costs, with signature bosses. Lowe continued, having said, what Andrew known themes, what not distributes autographs. Eugene turned away from rejoicing assistants, however to said, what this unique thing. After all, if layout autograph V social networks, that their waiting likes, comments, and new subscribers, views will take off to heaven. Julia continued, having said, what them finds out huge quantity people. Eugene same I thought, what never not, will give similar to be bitten. However, her assistant already was blinded, upcoming with money. Suddenly, Eugene stated, what now, apparently, maybe not pay low salary. Actor, with this situation's only quiet laughed, attracting two to yourself, attention girls. Eugene noted, what that how that early came. Julia agreed. Her transmitted, what filming appointed on 3 hours, however, now was only hour days. Andrew agreed, having answered, what wants get comfortable before filming. So that his acting game ideal, boy first, always gets used to it. To environment, Julie admired professional skills, hero. Hard sighing, assistant, suddenly said, what I thought, what Andrew came earlier for the sake of director's salon. How strongly embarrassed guy. Having looked on Eugene, actor said, what yesterday to terminated their engagement, but he here, to try to establish all. Cute smiling, Andrew asked Julia to render to him support. Assistant already, not could restrain oneself before charm actor. Coming closer to Eugene, Julia asked permissions organized from wedding. After beginning in detail, paint all process, not having forgotten about journalists. Her eyes already shone thirst money. Enraged boss appealed to Lowe, which enthusiastically expected answer. However, instead of consent, Eugene exhibited assistant for door. Andrew was nice. What they remained on united. And he asked permissions at heroine's ask question. Actor asked, Eugene, not wants weddings, or same she, not wishes go out, get married exactly for him. Andrew confessed what this question already for a long time torments his young woman noticed what that constantly busy, that once, when boy just left her, they so, and not talked. How it turned out, actor left secretly directly in the middle filming. How again shocked Eugene. Andrew good-naturedly smiled, having said, what V other time not smog, would see each other with girl. Eugene took V hand's cup, after thinking, what her now eyes go blind from shine guy. To the heroine, was hard refuse such handsome guy. However she I thought, what Andrew must know, which at her character. Eugene confidently said, what at them, nothing not will come out, and again apologized for mine thoughtless act. Andrew answered, what heroine every once only, and does, what apologizes, boy more, not wanted hear from her these words. Actor just wanted. To Eugene answered, why so is worried, and refuses even from dates. In this moment, young woman remembered talk Audrey and grandmothers, which first said, what boy already in love and refuses from weddings? Woman, hugging granddaughter, promised what to all equals will come out for actor. And, in all established situations, Eugene Vinyl myself. If grandmother and Audrey will find out about to all, that heroine will come end. Suddenly, Andrew assumed, what young woman, not once take on my self-responsibility. How surprised Eugene. Suddenly, wool cabin burst in Julia, interrupted dialogue heroes. Opening wide door, Lowe said, what case urgent and not suffers delays. Eugene turned around on out-of-breath assistant, asking V how case. Lowe said, what V salon came Princess Audrey, and she already on first floor, is heading straight ahead V cabinet directors. Eugene jumped up with sofa, not waiting. What sister will come to her on work? Andrew apologized for that what interrupted conversation, however asked, who such Princess Audrey? Young woman was configured serious. She finally found human, which spoiled her engagement. Eugene turned around to Andrew, having said, what that must immediately leave. However, V door, very loud knocked and a swung open. By that side, Audrey, having asked why heroine not opens, really she decided hide. Voice asked, why Eugene locked door, low same whispered, what this? She closed her. Heroine froze, not understanding, what same now do? After I thought, what it is forbidden. To Andrew and Audrey met here. Turning around V opposite side office, Eugene saw door. Suddenly, having addressed to Andrew, heroine grabbed his for hand. Pulling guy for her, she asked his follow for by yourself. Having entered V room, Eugene said, what knows, what situation ridiculous, however, asked, sit down Andrew, here couple minutes. Let there was a bit dirty, but heroine asked actor be patient, by that attentively watched on girl. Desperate Eugene continued, having said, what now emergency situation, and promised later, all explain, on what Andrew nothing not answered. Heroine said, what worries, from for silence actor however, that taking her for hand, soon asked at her, what to him will if he quiet will sit for a while here. Eugene asked, what same that wants, and asked more, not touch her hand, a V this moment, V cabinet, also same was breaking Audrey. Andrew answered, what wants to eat, and asked girl go, wear anything together. Eugene not was special choice. After all Audrey was breaking, all louder and louder, so what heroine agreed. Approaching to doors, young woman strictly banned go out Andrew from rooms. Actor agreed, having promised what not will become her leave. Already after, Audrey asked, how like this was engaged her sister, what that it was necessary locked door. Eugene, unperturbed, answered, what worked, especially options and not was. Audrey answered, what at salon. Now even clients know which work, maybe go speech. However, V this once helped Julia, having said, what at directors, was video conference. Audrey asked again. A assistant confirmed, having answered what client was very dissatisfied stranger's noise. Young woman was indignant, having said what can was worn. And straightway, suddenly Audrey spoke up, what I heard your own name, and assumed, what about her gossiped. Eugene same answered, what such not maybe be. Client even not knew her sister. Heroine got irritated all stronger, having asked what devil Audrey came here. Really she plans wedding. Sister answered, what, to happiness, no, and asked why Eugene. So straightway started up. Audrey continued, having said, what this not important, her need to was, to heroine booked hotel. So how young woman will leave on weekend rest with friend? Voltage grew, Eugene answered, what may be book only. For employees companies, sister answered, what exactly, that's why, and came here. Heroine said, what if Audrey will do this for their money? Or grandmas, that all can organize. However, sister interrupted Eugene, having said, what woman know v some case, not should nothing to know, young woman asked why. Blushing, Audrey answered, what is being sent there with his second half? In room, hung dead silence. All were shocked from words girls. Eugene asked, why so? After all, at Audrey was planned engagement. Sister same dissatisfied villages, on sofa, having said, what will figure it out, with this herself. From heroines, was required only help with hotel. Eugene was shocked. Audrey only recently complained. What her engagement upset. It turned out, what a twisted novel on side. Sister asked, really it is forbidden without extra questions to execute request. After all, this was farewell drive. Heroine irritated answered, what at her, no on this time. Interlocutor same said, what at her, salon, and clients, that properly know. Eugene answered Audrey, what this not her case, and she not will become help. Young woman promised tell about something. How only stronger angered heroine. Audrey mentioned some interesting history, related with director Violet, Eugene. Having said that, what heroine is daughter Windy Couples? Having addressed to Eugene, Audrey named this entertaining story. After took a sip from cup's tea. Violet was known, after all girls, played wedding him, never not getting divorced, and happy to end. However, what maybe happen, when will be revealed truth. Audrey continued to press on girl, having said, what born outside marriage blesses others build happy families. To that same at her, was some friends reporters, with which now will how share. Sister knew how Eugene cherishes more total, and what afraid heroine asked at low, will be able to lee they pay trip. Assistant booked hotel, Audrey same named sister smart girl, having said, what knew what to will help. Sister punished nothing, not speak to grandma, otherwise her threat will come true. When Audrey left, Eugene finally could lean back armchair, and to think about to all happening. Suddenly, behind to her, came up Andrew, and taking girl for hand, noticed what to looks like tired. Heroine again, asked forgiveness, having said what for sure to him, was very uncomfortable. Actor same answered, what all fine, for him, this new experience. Having looked, Eugene eyes. Andrew asked, oh how was walking speech, and what for threats, were conversation. Having said, what Audrey not very that, looks like on princess. Actor cute smiled, holding his palms. Hand girls. Ta I thought, what boy already heard, what this was his bride. A little after a pause, Eugene answered, what this her cousin's sister, and asked, not peeped lie Andrew, that not agreed, having said, what not has such bad habits. Turning on all your own charm, boy asked, will contain la heroine your own promise. Eugene said, what when at actor will end filming, that she will book table. However suddenly Andrew wanted change wish. Boy looked on heroine, having pronounced, what wants go with her on date. However Eugene answered, what to this never not to be. Andrew became sad, having said, "What young woman hurts his V the most heart?" Heroine same not understood, "What that more expected?" Eugene answered, "What more, not once listen these nonsense. If boy not wanted together dinner, what she will thank his on your own discretion." Andrew said, "What this not enough, by his opinion. He few tried for girls." After Togo, how received offer. Actor continued, speaking, what configured much more seriously. How thinks Eugene? How called at the last one bewilderment. Young woman not knew, why that every once is trying get closer. With her, not understood, what same he for human such, and why exactly with him, her tied up fate. Watching for, to all this, heroine I thought, what not maybe not ask guy, and asked question, why that so continues. Try after all Eugene already apologized for mine act, why same Andrew continues lead myself, so as if she, and truth to him interesting. Actor apologized, for that, what may be allotment to the girl, however she really was to him interesting, he felt myself happy, knowing what at, interlocutors, all fine. Eugene turned away, having said, what to her, and without Andrew funny and fine. That same objected, having answered, what now at heroine's sad expression faces. Suddenly, young woman asked, what heard Andrew, and what to him it is known o her parents. Taking Eugene for hand, boy answered, what to him spit. Main, to heroine was happy, having applied, hand girls, to his own to the heart. Andrew suggested, do view, what he nothing not heard, and not saw. Strange, but where's actor very strongly touched Eugene. Maybe, that's why what every wanted would hear such. Eugene, not understood, what moves Andrew, once, that speaks such words, maybe lie she trust to the guy. Young woman told, what her mother was engaged, and already for a long time agreed. Oh wedding it seemed, what preparation is coming without problems. But this was not so. After all woman loved Father Eugene, always located near. They met V secret from all and for day, to weddings ran away. But V, that evening there to death, knocked down car. Then Mother Eugene already was pregnant to her. From them three, save succeeded only heroine. Andrew, not knew, what answer, and said, what solutions. Parent, not should influence on life girls, a themes more, on activity salon. Heroine said, what her father was designer wedding dresses. This place was his creation, all brides. Although would once have you heard, this one history. What V Violet was brilliant designer, famous his own talent, and was at him chosen one, which he loved all soul. Man died, V result unfortunate cases, at all young. His beloved to end their own days, was very happy. Thanks to dress, created for her. Exactly thanks to rumors. Oh volume, what girls V wedding dresses. Violet always will be happy, lives salon. Andrew said, what V media reported, what Father Eugene was one in time accidents. How it turned out, V this I tried my best grandmother girls. Exactly she launched, hearing oh Violet, saving his from bankruptcy. Heroine, I thought, what this present destinies, but on in itself business. This was diligent work, grandmothers, which I was able protect all, that's why. Now young woman gradually paid duty, giving away 70% from monthly profit. All what left Eugene parents, this debts, Andrew asked, not offendedly on them young woman, to same answered, what just wants protect, that place, which they created. This the only thing, what at her left. Boy said, what exactly? That's why young woman not wanted see with him, and was exactly here. Heroine, not understood, how actor found out about this, and accused his V volume. What Andrew, what, that not finishes the negotiations. Boy answered, what this happened, when he gave autograph, Chief Low to him, told, what for last month, Eugene climbed out from his own office only 3 times. AV last once, and at all, went on date, with 50-summer-old man. Andrew assumed, what young woman, maybe prefers men older. Eugene angrily I thought his assistant. After answered to the guy, what that date, was not by her will. To the actor, it came SMS, and he decided leave my number before themes. How leave? Having said, what if they will be more often communicate, that heroine faster will get used to it. To German, a also date, dates necessary choose. Already leaving, Andrew promised soon call. A also reminded Eugene. To she not forgot, oh date, young woman wanted call out, his, but not I made it in time. Boy, same was satisfied with a grin went further. In the corridor, he met with Julia, speaking by phone. Having heard voice, Andrew asked girl, who this nephew? Or maybe younger brother. Lo answered, what this her son? Actor said, what not new, what Julia married, to same objected, speaking, what not married, was man, whom young woman sincerely loved. However, it turned out, what that lived on two houses, Julia was already pregnant, two to that moment, and refused from marriage, but not from child. Then same she met directors Violet. Eugene promised take responsibility for happiness heroines. Julia continued, having said, what slogan salon? Violet will do happy all girls. Andrew answered, what Eugene Ray really amazing. Lo said, what four-door all heard, and she not will remember, to said to the Gaio date directors, where same, that could to know about this. Andrew answered, what on in itself business, before already met with Eugene. And not one once, that's why, when to him did offer, that decided take advantage of chance, knowing, what otherwise will feel sorry. Julia, I was surprised too that, what boy knows directors? That same answered, what about this more, not time speak, but he necessarily later all will tell. Andrew asked, will save Lee young woman his secret. Julia promised, think about it, after having asked, why actor all same, told to her about this, when could just depict misunderstanding. Andrew answered, what this, that's why, what young woman is for Eugene, the most main support. Turning around, Lo exhaled, having said, what she not so simple. Andrew, suddenly, said, what if Mrs. Julia to him will help, that he will become exclusive model Violet, to end their own days, even will sign contract, after having asked, agree Lee young woman cooperate. Next in the morning, Eugene woke up telephone call. Boy offered to the girl arrange today date. Andrew, all tried persuade heroine, but only answered, what busy. Boy said, what she makes his languish v waiting. Young woman same said, what that may be languish. By not will die. Suddenly from for doors rang out scream. In room burst, in Audrey, tried find out, with by whom this chatted with morning Eugene. Young woman same answered, what her obviously I heard it. A after asked, what happened? Audrey asked, why to these poor? No answer from hotel. Which she said, Eugene said, what, how once, sent reservation on mail, to sister confirmed her, how only will be able to, suddenly first asked, why Andrew to her not answers. Audrey asked, at heroines, knows lie she what, or, young woman only said, no. Sister Eugene turned around, having answered, what to nothing not maybe no. A after said, what better ask at Granny's? Eugene felt myself a hindrance between Audrey and Andrew. For breakfast, grandmother said, what today? In the evening, they deal officially poznakомиться, with family second sides. Women continued, speaking, what will start straight away. With choice dates, these words shocked Eugene. Audrey crazy was happy to that. What will come out, get married for Andrew. Grandmother same answered, what attached to this many efforts. Happy young woman ran away, get ready to upcoming meeting. Eugene already was going to leave from for table. How suddenly her stop voice, women. Grandmother asked, not forgot Lee heroine apologize, before those old man. A after said, appoint meeting and ask forgiveness. Having met Audrey on stairs, Eugene I heard, how to speaks by phone, what wants become bride months. After, sister asked postpone date. Eugene same already met one from clients, to asked, when same herself, heroine already will do under crown. Young woman same, awkward grinning, answered, what then, when will find suitable party? Suddenly, to her, came up Chief Lo, And what? That fast whispered on ear. Eugene hurried leave their own interlocutors, having said, what her is waiting urgent client. Answered, what manager low will help with compilation schedules. Young woman left. Eugene entered V reception, and seeing sitting there girl, asked at her, I was looking for Lie She directors, more, and from name Audrey Dallas. Heroine, apologizing, said what to send her here, having said, what all settled. By words Audrey, all expenses on honey month and wedding salon will take on myself. Eugene, not understood, oh how said young woman, to same said, what not costs, so be surprised, after all she same servile bird. Interlocutor said, what Audrey always does, all by to his own. And now suddenly asked, postpone date her weddings, let to a stranger, and not wanted. Having apologized, Eugene said, what salon not will be able to execute similar requirements. As to that same Violet, this not that place, where follow orders Audrey. Suddenly, young woman said, what Audrey asked, hand over V case refusal. Next words, to me it's a pity, but I'll go out get married, after asked, hand over Lee to her refusal. Eugene remembered words, his sister's, oh volume, what now, heroine, not will be able to resist to her. Stranger got up, having said, what will accept silence for agreement, and will do. Young woman asked Eugene appoint date ceremonies, boy, the nearest time. Heroine I hoped, what when Audrey will be issued get married, that she will find freedom. However, by her opinion, this was big delusion. Eugene hard-breathed. For his sisters, heroine was only toy, which can use, however patience girls burst. Eugene dialed number Audrey, and heard how to speaks oh his to a friend. Squeezing teeth, young woman asked all V in order, with head at his sisters, interlocutor same, not understood, what this suddenly she was so evil. Shouting, Eugene asked how many more she should indulge whims his sisters. Audrey said, what all will tell granny. However heroine answered, what more not is going to tolerate, and to maybe all tell. Eugene promised by all by forces, do my sister unhappy, any by means, which at her there were. Young woman burst in V mine cabinet, and saw there Andrew, reading catalog Violet. All more speaking by phone. Eugene promised transform life. Audrey V hell. Sister same said. V answer. What to heroine? Not did. All it's useless. Eugene dropped call, menacingly drilling with a glance telephone. To her came up Andrew, apologetic for that what unceremoniously burst in V cabinet heroines when that not was. Wiping with hands, tears, with faces girls. Actor said, what a little scattered, that's why he decided her visit. After asked, who forced Eugene cry? Heroine, I thought, what Andrew? Always comes suddenly, exactly V those moment, when to her required comfort or help. You guy rang telephone, and he already wanted leave, however his stopped Eugene, having asked, if she will ask his, not leave, that how he will arrive. Today, she not wanted let go his, to Audrey Dallas. Eugene asked Andrew, stay her, not asking many questions. Suddenly, actor asked, not entices lie his now young woman. To same asked V answer, what even if and so that what? Heroine said, really he thinks, what to his is deceiving. Andrew, grinning, spoke, really what a little bit, a little bit. Eugene, not understood, why boy thinks, what her phrase, this lie. Andrew same answered, what V such moments enough, just say, not leave. Touched to chin heroines, boy said try now the most. From for awkwardness, Eugene squeezed wrist his with your palm. After asked Andrew not leave, having dialed on phone number, actor, apologizing, said, what forced canceled today's meeting. Suddenly, at him asked reason, hero, a little thought about it, looking on Eugene. After answered, what at him arose more important case. Later couple minutes pair, already sat on the couch V in the office Eugene. Young woman wiped leftovers tears, Andrew asked. Cried my fill, Lee she. Eugene answered, what and not got ready, boy objected, having said, what at her red eyes, but heroine answered, what said, oh volume, what never not cries on work. Andrew wanted to know reason. Young woman same said, what people come v violet for Togo, to become happy, and if director Salon will cry, that all efforts in vain. Eugene decided, what here no, places sadness and sorrows, a actor admired to her. Young woman asked Andrew, fine Lee, what that recently cancelled meeting. Hero said, what case unimportant, so what not, oh how worry. Finally, happened, that what he, so for a long time waited, Eugene did step on meeting to him. Andrew said, what will near, but in return took with heroine's word, what not will run away, how v, that once, when did offer, and not push away. Having put palms on shoulders, Eugene, boy asked permissions check. Heroine wanted to know, how exactly that wants check, how suddenly, having said only, here. So Andrew leaned over to her face, kissing V lips. Now at him, was many time and knocked down Eugene on sofa. Actor asked, how she wants to do. Suddenly, young woman turned out to be V beds. Looking around, she not understood what is happening. Waving by hand, Eugene saw on, in his own finger ring. You her, was so many questions. She not knew, what same she did something wrong, with Andrew vive this once. Later couple minutes, Eugene understood, what got drunk to loss his consciousness, as if again was born. Young woman scolded myself for mine act, calling crazy, A. After asked V his head question, where same she. Eugene not could believe. Really she slept with Andrew. Frightened such layout, she decided recall, all with the most beginning. Young woman remembered, how stopped his, A after they kissed. Then heroes set off together have dinner. More, she remembered, what way V her hand turned out to be alcohol. Sitting V bar, Andrew was worried a condition Eugene. After all the badly endured alcohol. Young woman same was happy to that, what finally did. It knows Princess Audrey Dallas, after asked, really, Andrew will, to these poor not V course her family circumstances. Conducting with a finger, by edge glasses, heroine promised about to all tell. However in return, today she not wanted come back home. Grasping for head, Eugene, I thought, really she all really told Andrew. However exactly on this moment memories were interrupted. Suddenly, heroine heard female voice, asked woke up Lee she. Eugene, not understood, once this house, Andrew, that why here young woman. Heroine, already, I made it in time think about it. What stranger is mistress actor? However flow her thoughts interrupted voice girls, which said, that not knows? What there I made it up to yourself Eugene, but all exactly not so. Approaching closer, stranger introduced herself, having said, what her name is Darcy John, and she simple assistant. Heroine laughed, after thinking about myself, what is a disgrace? Eugene I thought, what so few knows Andrew? Already I made it in time. All wrong understand, and turn over. Suddenly, Darcy asked, nothing. And no scary V volume, what heroine, not warned my family. She continued, having said, what they not knew addresses Eugene. That's why brought her here. However young woman, all same was worried. Heroine, suddenly, said, what to her? Already it's time drive. However, not could find my clothes. Darcy same answered, what straight away. By arrival here, girl decently threw up. Assistant a little became embarrassed. A Eugene once for at once, scrolled latest 2 words at myself, V head. Already for breakfast, heroine apologized, speaking, what to her, very it's a pity. And if what, that she, maybe all compensate. Smiling, Darcy said, what more total got it Andrew. So what all V in order, however, Eugene. So not considered, again, thanks to for help girl. Assistant said, what all V in order, after all they live near, and sometimes walk, friend too to a friend. And during the day, and at night, having understood what she said, Darcy asked, not think nothing extra, after all case only V work. Her senior brother manager, Andrew. That's why from For Loaded Works, they live by neighborhood. In any case, Darcy asked interlocutor, not worry and just eat. After all, Mr. Wilson once asked, take care o' heroin. After awakening, a myself left on morning filming, before having prepared all for breakfast. Assistant said, what to her it is forbidden leave Eugene 1, and she promised Andrew stay here, together with heroin. Darcy asked more, not worry and not think out. After all, young woman, obviously I thought, what actor drives home others' women, and strongly was worried. Having tried it, I'm going, Eugene noted, what a very delicious, having named Andrew amazing. Suddenly, Darcy asked question, caught heroin taken by surprise. She asked, how many they already meet. Choking, Eugene answered, what they not v relationships, how shocked assistant. Darcy, not understood, why young woman abandoned Andrew. Really he came in handy to her, not by soul on date blindly. Suddenly, assistant said, what Eugene and actor saw each other some months back, on date 5 cafe, and she was sure, what they meet. Heroine answered, what this not so, more, and month not passed, with their acquaintance. Darcy showed up. This strange, after all Andrew said to her exactly. So, Eugene, was only one date v cafe, but how many would she not remembered? It was, not with actor. Young woman not understood, why Andrew so said. Having looked on Darcy, she asked, could the actor make a slip of the tongue? However assistant answered, what so not maybe be. Andrew exactly said, what this was, director Violet Eugene Ray. Heroine thought about it. Inconsistencies in all these stories was enough. Starting with Togo moment, how Andrew easily accepted offer girls. Eugene not understood, what same hides Andrew will. Heroine already wanted leave, however her stopped Darcy, having said, what actor asked, detain, here girl. Eugene decided leave to Togo moment, how will come Andrew. Boy much hid, hence, at him not should be claims to heroine. That need to, was at first bring thoughts of order. Suddenly, near houses girl called out familiar voice. Andrew smiled Eugene, having asked, what to does before home, really is waiting his. It depends on her, with admiration. Boy again asked question, having said, is waiting Lee his young woman. Stumbling, heroine wanted answer, what is going to home? However changed my mind, having said, what of course, waited actor. Later couple minutes, flushed Eugene, already sat V-car Andrew. Actor asked, what for human, which waited meetings, seems young woman too much tense. Confused, Eugene answered, what maybe, apologize wanted, for Togo and waited guy. Andrew same asked, why then heroine? So became embarrassed, beloved after all can. And miss friend, bye to a friend. Eugene, I was surprised, why boy, name their beloved, how it turned out, then V-bar, heroine, putting on ring on finger actor, ordered wear his all life, not filming. Andrew perceived this how offer, and agreed. Having addressed to the girl, he asked, really to again, will take away their words back. Gradually memories Eugene started come back. Yesterday, heroine grabbed hold for Andrew, and decided give will to his own egoism. In bar, she thanked Guy for that what that remained near. Hero answered, what for the first time Eugene asked his, not leave. Coming closer, two-room apartment said, what decided more, not avoid Andrew. And now intended do way, this demonstrate. Having concluded Guy v their embrace, she kissed his, having pronounced, what continues, all more fall in love, v hero. Already at night, Eugene suggested Andrew paired rings. That asked V in order Lee young woman, seems she I went overboard with alcohol. However interrupted words, interlocutor, heroine answered, what all fine. Eugene put on ring, having asked more, not take off his. After joyful ran away further, leaving Guy v stupor. However, Andrew was nice attention with sides girls. He gently stroked hand, on which was flaunting decoration. Having analyzed their memory, Eugene blushed, understanding what all this looks like and is recognition. She better all understood what at least, and was drunk, but said sincerely, now heroine, not knew what do, really, and in second, once say, what changed my mind. Taking away sight, Eugene said, what starts? What? That remember, how made me happy Andrew, that was glad, after all thought, what young woman will cancel, and this confession. Boy, attracted hand heroines, to his own lips, and kissed her. After, sincerely thanked Eugene. Not many, later, heroine asked at Andrew, mentioned lie. That filming dramas, that answered, what, seems, they take a drag, more, and will be daily. To the guy, was, it's a pity to part, here. So, but by extreme measure this consoled, from his phrases, Eugene awkward giggled. To the girl, were unusual words love. Earlier she, there know from whom before, not I heard. Grew up, watching only swearing and swearing. Listening this human heroine, all-time experience envy, feeling, compelling want continuations their relations. However, between Eugene and Andrew, all more appears many not permitted problems. Boy was groom Audrey Dallas, a Eugene, her blood relative. Real one's intentions, Andrew, all more were a mystery for girls. Eugene I thought, what the first cue necessary, all settle with Audrey, then already all rest. Suddenly, Andrew addressed, to lost in dreams to the girl, having said, to more often held his for hand, and digging directly. How now, heroine moved away, having answered, what no for what, and it is forbidden, after all can appear unnecessary rumors. Boy became sad, having said, what wanted to brag, Eugene same said, what even if and so, that at first they will be meet secretly, by not will end filming. Heroine continued, having pronounced what Andrew must contain promise, that same answered, what this, no none problems. Coming closer, he promised, what to nobody, not will say, volume, what they meet. Although Andrew so and said, but total for one day, managed to create big troubles. Enraged, Audrey watched news release, not understanding what happened. Suddenly it turned out, what national handsome Andrew Will meets by whom that, and already found the second half. Already in the office. Eugene came up Julia, having asked, how all resolved, young woman tried evade from questions, having done what not understands, how speech. Assistant clarified, having said, what boss yesterday was leaving tears together, with Andrew Willem. Outpost these, in words taken by surprise heroine. Tem more, they together came in on work, Jin answered, what all this was by chance on parking. However Julia objected, having said, what on video recordings, all looked like otherwise. Assistant continued, speaking, what they were as if glued. Eugene jumped up from table, having asked stay. Heroine asked Julia, really all was filmed. Last confirmed her words. Assistant continued, speaking, what salon, it's a bit complicated fine place, where no cameras, however, if boss will want, that she will delete all traces, stay here, Andrew Willa. Also, recommended next ones, if them will be needed blind zone, use fire stairs. Eugene said, what any case decided seriously meet with Andrew. Julia same assumed, what apparently exactly. That's why boss, not spent the night yesterday. Houses. Young woman was shocked, but not could understand where to found out about this. Lowe said, what yesterday called housekeeper, which reported, what at home. Not the best situation, to that same. Eugene. Not came home, a burst in. Audrey, turned over all with legs on head. Suddenly, heroine heard sound for door. It turned out, what Andrew gave interview quality promotion, to drama. Reporter asked actor to greet spectators. With wide smile, Andrew said, hello, after introduced himself. For filming platform, already got ready crowd fans, encouragingly screaming. Interviewer continued, having said, what Andrew Willa, they call Prince Romantics, but he also known themes, what no once, not got there v scandals. Young woman asked, once hero is being removed, only v romantic genre, that may be relationship, for him boring. Andrew thought about it. After looked on second floor, on which stood Eugene and Julia. Suddenly, he said, what at all recently at him appeared beloved. Presenter asked again. Andrew repeated, speaking, what at him appeared beloved. How shocked all surrounding. Actor continued, having said, what so how, he fell in love recently, that have to be careful, seems, for him, this more difficult, how simple role, v. romantic dorama. Having built puppy eyes, Andrew asked all their own fans support his. Fans here same screamed, what? Certainly will support his own idol. Let that does all, what will want. Already in the evening, Eugene houses. How to her go home, considering that what yesterday her not was houses. She remembered words Julia, which said, just say, what young woman was together with her. Trying sneak in home, heroine heard talk Audrey by phone. To scream to whom, that what no beloved no, and this total only advertising dramas. Sister Eugene was v rage, and abandoned mine telephone about floor. Audrey, seeing heroine, asked, where to looks, really came mock. Eugene kept silent, on what her sister only more flared up, screaming, what, and she her ignores. However heroine asked, not take it out anger on her. Audrey screamed, what for sure, young woman I read it article, was delighted and came, to look, as far as comical her state. Sister Eugene said, what grandmother will apply all forces, to wedding took place. However heroine turned away, having answered, what to her, this not has none relationship. Suddenly, Audrey mentioned, what young woman at night was not houses. She asked, where at heroines, so many courage, after all grandmother banned, spend the night outside houses. Now Audrey was, it's clear, what sister was with a man. Smiling, she said, what Eugene leads myself, so same, how and her mother. Heroine came v rage, having answered, what Audrey nothing not knows, to speak about this. Eugene ordered sister apologize, however to, asked for what, after all this truth. Audrey continued, having said, what this and there is cause, grandma's hostility. After all her daughter went, with mine by, to a man and even abandoned family for the sake of him. Eugene suggested, forget and finish on this. Audrey, however, not stopped, having said, what all case of v her existence, after all on family fell down so many problems from, for mothers heroines, what to her even disgusting live v1 at home, with such how Eugene, not having endured, heroine said his sister fail. If Audrey so hateful, that Letta is being sent to his own outstanding to the beloved. Eugene turned on phone audio recording, v which sister said, oh, in his own beloved, and oh volume, what grandmother nothing not should to know. When to ended, heroine asked, how same them now to enroll. This was enough to put up Audrey on laughing stock. Sister rushed on Eugene, screaming, to gave away telephone. She tried grab heroine, however young woman intercepted hand to Audrey, having said, to tay not brave grab her. Eugene repeated, having said, what spent the night at Julia, however sister said, what not will believe v her words. Then heroine suggested, call assistant low, after added, what delete audio recording, with phone it's useless, so how she did backup copy. Angry Audrey said, that v next, once case this not will end. After turned around and left. Eugene decided, what need to quickly with to all figure out. So that became easier breathe. To the girl, wrote grandmother, having said, to met with old man, after reported to her. On parking, Eugene met Andrew, asked, how to her slept, after said, what so missed you, what all night not slept, thought, what will do with mind. Boy said, what always is waiting only heroine. Then, Andrew suggested to the girl, get married. Eugene already wanted what that say, however boy interrupted her, having said, what just rehearsed replicas for today's filming. Heroine blushed. A actor asked, really her heart trembled. Young woman. I was surprised. With what would this? Maybe thanks to Andrew, she perked up. Boy, pressed Eugene. To yourself, having said, what to that like? By in the morning see her face, in the morning to him. Always so hard, and nothing not I want to. But the last time days steal brighter. Heroine, I was delighted. What at Andrew? All so fine. However, after asked, can lay them stand here so, in the middle parking. After these words, they straightway moved away. Friend, and both blushed. Boy said, what next, once we'll find. For this more suitable place, Eugene same answered, what always there is her cabinet. Andrew suggested to go further. A young woman same said. To that was walking on distance, suddenly there who that will see. Hero answered, what they just are holding on for hands, really from for this straightaway will scandal. However, this moment, there managed who that to film on camera. In salon came girlfriend Audrey. She apologized for lateness, having said, what on the road, too much many machines. Eugene sarcastically noticed, what other clients come during, so how time was few need, to was quickly all decide. Hung heavy atmosphere, heroine said, entered choose, of interest her dress, arrest she will bring, leaning on him. Suddenly, girlfriend Audrey asked, here Lee pass filming Andrew Willa, and not saw Lee, his young woman. Eugene answered, what they hear not often there are. Christy said, what then heroine should know, what Andrew abandoned her sister, and started with by whom? That meet, she asked, maybe Eugene knows, who same this young woman, which took heart actor. Heroine answered, what nothing not knows, oh personal life actors, and these things better known to reporters. Eugene said, what any case, need to hurry with fitting, so how they should finish to 11 hours. Choosing dress, Christy suddenly asked, how much director salon, more not married, Audrey especially. Not chatted, oh his sister, that's why to her became interesting. Eugene I thought, what sister set on her my girlfriend. Otherwise whereat, her such interest, will badly if what that it will get there to her ears. Christy already wanted, what that ask, however, cabinet burst in Julia. Assistant said, what arrived new client, here she may be finish, and herself, Eugene was delighted to that, what low, was how always during. Christy decided argue, speaking, what they not can decide, all for her, however Julia answered, what then to her, not it was worth it be late. In room, hung tense silence. Two girls drilled friend with a glance. Julia said, what, judging by records, Christy came on 40 minutes appointed time. To answered, what just a little, was delayed on the road. However assistant continued, speaking, what to her it's a pity. But for one, brides they not can violate dense schedule works, total salon. Christy got upset, after thinking, what on this? With her all will end. However Julia said, what director about to all took care of, and she herself will help with compilation plan, compensating time lateness. Young woman agreed, having answered, what will look dresses more once. Eugene, I thought, what Julia pride Violet, after said Christy, what to her need to leave, and will great, if will be found dress, which will have to madam to the bride by soul. Assistant low, gesture showed, what will track for girl, which was in order irritated. Later couple minutes, Eugene already saw coffee, thinking oh volume, what on her, fell down so many tests, for Audrey, with the most morning heroine already tired. Young woman noisy exhaled. How suddenly familiar voice said, what if she will? So sigh that luck will evaporate. With backs, came up Andrew, having asked, what happened at Eugene? To same I thought, what from one look on this beautiful face fatigue, little by little evaporates. Young woman wanted to know, by which one to the point, came actor, that answered, what wanted look on her, before how leave, so how missed you. Eugene, I was afraid, what there will be caught, however filming group was friend in the body. Team Violet on lunch. Young woman was surprised, where Andrew knew when at her employee's dinner and even named his worker salon. That answered, what this not so, already and difficult to know. Suddenly, actor again interrupted telephone call. Heroine same thought about it. What for the first time hears. To that communicated with by whom? That on you, her. It seemed, what relationship become more close? Andrew said, what to him need to go, however to him, was so hard leave. Seeing, what Eugene not drives with him I. Blushing young woman blurted out, what them, maybe costs go to, on more informal communication. V at the end ends, they peers, to that same meet, that's why small changes, not will interfere. Andrew agreed. But problem was V volume. What this? Like how? Memorable moment. And now he was worried. Oh volume, what speak? Eugene answered, what that maybe say, that same the most, what we always, leaning over. Boy suddenly said, what loves girl, having addressed to her on you. Heroine blushed, she not understood, why difference, so huge, after all actor, just barely changed manner speeches. Suddenly, young woman babble, what, seems polite appeal, was more convenient. Andrew stretched out to her handkerchief, having asked, maybe Eugene was unpleasant. What he spoke on you, however young woman answered, what to her just unusual. In that moment, when actor said, name heroines, she realized what her heart desperately stretches, to this affectionate to a man. To her, I liked it communicate on you. I liked it be near, but to continue relationship, necessary decide some problems. On telephone, Eugene it came message from grandmothers. Tay agreed. With themes old man, chose favorite place to the girl, so, what she should drive there without extra conversations. Already, V Cafe, man spoke. What at youth today one problem. At first, not listen adults, then necessarily feel sorry about this. He suggested, not tighten, and begin straight away with Togo to appoint date weddings. However, Eugene answered, what not wants this. Enraged man, not understood, for what young woman showed up here. To same answered, what for Togo, to personally put to this end. Not having decided this one problem, heroine. Not I was able would move further, with the most childhood, and to real time more often total. She I heard word be patient, even if her offended, Eugene, swallowing resentment, held all V to yourself, but this just nonsense. Man asked again, what means nonsense, young woman? Same continued. Heroine said, what realized, now she became that, who not will obey unceremoniously abandoned words. Now at Eugene was human, which loves and appreciates her such, which she there is, that's why, not it was worth it lie to her, same a little change, and begin value myself. Standing up from fore table, heroine advised to the interlocutor, continue search the bride, so how for such men, how it young woman was quite inappropriate candidate. Old man got angry, screaming, what really Eugene thinks, what that will leave her V peace. He was indignant, what grandmother girls, so strongly apologized, to the tried give to her second chance. However, from one look to him, already became sickening. Eugene strictly looked on man, having said, what maybe, case not v her, a v him. Having named heroine arrogant rubbish, he already grabbed cup, however his stopped female hand. On help, Eugene suddenly arrived in time stranger, having asked, what same is going to do man, not really pour over girl water, really this not ashamed. She showed up heroine familiar, and continued, what not could ignore, that how young lady are trying humiliate v so public place. Old man asked, not interfere, however stranger answered, what not may be. After all she fair human. Young woman asked, what will happen if all will find out? Oh volume, what adult man offends young lady, peer his daughters. One video could glorify his company v negative light. Themes more, that was going to apply violence, stranger stated, what took off very interesting material. She, with a grin, how would thought about it, not knowing, what do, a after asked, wantsly old man to know taste humiliation. Man not could nothing answer, however said, what will pass on to the chairman Dallas, what wedding cancelled. Angrily poking with a finger V side, Eugene. He ordered that not speak extra and urgently left. Bowing, heroine thanked stranger, thanks to her, with confused girl all was V strand. Yes, same answered, what just here was too much noisy, and asked not take this V head. Eugene asked, saw each other Lee, they earlier. Stranger suddenly understood, what forgot, introduce yourself, and answered, what is Sister Andrew Willa? Time, to the actor, to the one driving V-car, it came message. After reading his, he asked driver urgently to go V-cafe. That very surprised, Andrew said to him, hurry up. Sister actor thanked Eugene, after all from for her brother freed faster. Now heroine understood why to wanted take a photo. Sev against young woman beginning tell, her called Rachel Will, being senior sister Andrew, worked she V areas international rights. Eugene, I was surprised, what to was, senior sister, young woman asked, really, her brother, not told O family, after heroine remembered. How about this, said her grandmother. Rachel asked, not worry. After all, she not was going to be wicked daughter-in-law. Because heroine was permanent visitor cafe. Her husband, that young woman wanted make friends. Eugene, very I was surprised. A new familiar continued, having said, what master establishments is son-in-law Andrew Willa? 2. To this moment, that Ocom was walking speech, already came up near, and heroine asked, really, they really family? He apologized, having said, what not was going to surprise girl. Boy said, what today was cool, absolutely not. So how usually, Eugenia same I thought, what all, so after all she in love, his brother-in-law, and having decided take a sip, water trembling by hand, not I was able this do. Having asked all leave in order, he stretched out handkerchief. However heroine not could understand, this place was her beloved, all meetings, appointed grandmother, passed here. Eugene, all no way, not could accept that fact, what institution belongs family, Andrew Willa. To the heroine was interesting really, that observed for her, all these years. Eugene not knew, where actor knew her. To the girl I wanted to will ask Andrew directly now. That same already ran to heroine. From thoughts, Eugene tore off his voice, calling heroine. It depends on Andrew young woman asked question. How many same more that knows o her? Puffed boy asked all Lee with heroine fine, should be his. Sister put her before choice. However, Eugene answered, what Rachel helped to her. Sister answered Andrew, what here was old man, which delivered troubles. So, what Rachel? Just helped, Eugene agreed, having said, what young woman looked like very cool then. Andrew whispered, not said lie his sister what, that strange heroine understood, that to knows her, maybe, to the guy was already about to, all it is known. Eugene decided, what at first need to, was all fine think about it, following plan, necessary interrogate Audrey. Smiling she answered, what not was nothing strange, only conversations o sister Andrew. Boy was worried from for features his families, and said, what Eugene not follows, come here without him. Heroine same I thought, how they with sisters similar. Andrew asked, why Rachel not warned his, what came back from America. To only brushed it off, having said, what wanted sleep, and at all to her need to have a chat with them both. Then actor, addressed, to brother-in-law, speaking what that must, was tell to him. However hero answered, what myself found out, about this only today. Smiling, Andrew said, what this great, what sister came back from America, after all passed many time. Boy said, what them already it's time. A Rachel for sure I missed you by to his own to husband. To fast all understood, having asked, really couple wants to be alone. Waving to the heroes by hand, Sister Andrew said goodbye, having said, what they more see each other. Husband Rachel asked, why she came v cafe, nothing not having said to him. To answered, what they for a long time not saw each other, here she and came. However, boy not believed, He said, "What fine nose girl," and asked, "Really, she came back from Vertogo days." Already, Vikar Andrew apologized before heroine, speaking, "What that had to today not easily, and he more not will allow similar." Eugene answered, "What all V in order?" A after asked, "All lie sisters guy live, V others countries." Andrew confirmed her guess. He said, "What on that? There is many reasons, however young woman should know more some, what?" Their interrupted telephone call, Julia. Ta said, "What tried, decide this one problem. But at her, not it worked out, and heroine need to, was come back home, so how atmosphere there, very strange." Eugene worriedly squeezed mine clutch. Seeing this Andrew asked, "Nothing, if young woman will do one." Heroine asked, "Can lie, they go together," on what actor answered consent. However, she asked, "Not worry, after all every day, what, that is happening." However, on this once situation showed up to the guy serious. Eugene said, "What assistant just scared her, all V in order." A after hugged his for cheeks. Andrew wanted was what that say, but heroine kissed his, not gave nothing answer. Having looked to him, V eyes. Eugene asked, "Believe, V her." Already saying goodbye, Andrew not V first asked, "Call to him, if that will happen." Eugene planned, "Tell today all family." Not intending more fight with this. To her need too, was be more confident, and go with pride, to his own to the stars. How only young woman entered V house, grandmother weighed out to her slap. She screamed, "What now from?" For Eugene at them huge problems. Heroine, not understood, what not so. After all she descent on date, how was required. Audrey screamed, to not pretended, and abandoned to her telephone, on which was photo Andrew and Eugene. Young woman said heroine, not pretend a fool. I, after accused Eugene viv volume, what to took away her man. Grandmother screamed, how heroine dares meet with groom's sisters. Eugene said, what should be happened error. Woman said, what this pledged v her family. Heroine was worried, what nobody not knows about father, but their actions are the same. By her words, one daughter's not enough. That's why Eugene same decided go by his footsteps. Young woman screamed, why grandmother draws in here parents. After all, this all anyway, her problem. Woman said, what now their family will turn into V laughing stock. She fed Eugene, raised, and now to wanted pay back to her. Here so. Old woman screamed, who will take for this responsibility? Audrey nodded in agreement, having said, what heroine on purpose went to Andrew. She same screamed, asking, what is probability Togo? What boy gets married on Eugene? Audrey named his unhappy. After all, by her opinion, heroine used his V, their own interests, and not understood why Andrew contacted with such, how her sister. Eugene objected, having answered, what not is going to use guy. Audrey chuckled, having asked, really to want say, what loves actor. Heroine agreed, clearly having answered, what loves this man, how all more angered sister. Eugene continued, having said, what really at first wanted use Andrew. But when they met, boy became the only one who supports her. Andrew became first, who forced Eugene realize what she important, for whom that, how heroine could not fall in love with such human. Audrey came up to the girl, screaming, what to came down, with mind, and already intended, hit Eugene. Young woman said, what then Andrew must know, what they with her cousins, sisters. Audrey got hit. V point, boy, not was V course this situations. She understood, what Eugene all anyway, not I was able to him tell. Heroine asked sister, not to act, so with her, young woman. Same already, I was dialing his number, having asked, what it will do, when she will tell to him. Audrey said, what it will work out, how that bad. Eugene heard, how sister said, Andrew, what wants to him? Some, what tell, oh, how that must be. V course. Boy answered, what all very successful it worked out. He located near and now will come in to him home. That's why he intended listen girl. In living room gathered all heroes. On Eugene pressed formidable silence. However, Andrew held her for hand, giving my support. Audrey noticed, what boy? Not especially surprised, grandmother nodded in agreement, having said, what groom granddaughters and his young woman are located, V1, and volume same place. Really this was not weird. However, actor hurried correct her, having answered, what is just familiar, a not groom. Young woman said, what this not has meanings. However, Andrew interrupted her, having said, what this very important. Because, what all problems were, exactly from for this, boy stated, what, in first Audrey, not his pair, he not wanted with her meet. On what sister? Eugene squeezed teeth angry all more. Heroine wanted, what that say? However, grandmother interrupted her, strictly noticing, what this her family problem. A not actor. That same not agreed with her, having answered, what this? And his care same, after all human, with which Andrew wanted be, was Eugene. Boy said, what woman knows this, but continues ignore. Eugene suddenly I thought, what all this time in pairs, Andrew was she. Audrey, not understood, oh how speaks boy, she screamed, what Eugene specially came up to the actor, however, that asked, really, this was problem. Andrew said, what came up, to heroine first. After all date blindly was his idea. With your own in words, he overthrew both girls. V shock. Boy told, what asked at their own parents' dates. With granddaughters, corporations, serum, and certainly same. Mentioned the first granddaughter President Dallas, however to all distorted. Audrey, not could V, this believe. She asked grandma say, what all this not truth. A after shouted, what this should, was be Eugene, a not she. Jumping up with sofa, she asked, why Andrew chose heroine, a not her. After all, by comparison with his sister, Audrey considered myself better. Young woman screamed, what not once. To it her all here so took away, however her interrupted actor. Andrew continued, having said, what with the most beginning, nobody never, and not was going to nothing take away. After all that, who is trying what, that take away, was Audrey. Young woman screamed, what actor, not maybe be with another woman, only not with Eugene. Grandmother supported granddaughter, having said, what Eugene caused harm, his own to parents, heroine, by her opinion. Seed misfortunes, woman not wanted, to tragedy repeated. Continuing, she suggested, do view, what nothing not was, no weddings, no dates, so what now? Andrew could just leave. Grandmother Eugene said, what respects parents actor, but to everything there is limit. Heroine thought about it. Oh volume, what that did not. So what should carry responsibility for that, what was born from this human? However her flow consciousness interrupted Andrew, having addressed, to the chairman Dallas, he asked, nose and ta, what her actions they do, life Eugene unhappy. Grandmother answered, what boy, not has rights. So speak, however, he objected, having said, what o parents girls to him, wonderful it is known, and he fine there understands. Woman answered, what because, Eugene daughter, Togo human, that she not maybe accept their relationship, she asked, will be delighted lie parents, Andrew illegitimate daughter-in-law. Old woman said, what better finish all now, themes more she chooses, who will become husband Eugene. That's why Andrew, not must was interfere via affairs families. Boy asked at her, really to once, to all again repeated. Andrew said, what woman, never not listen to opinion. Eugene, and all decided for her, really grandmother not I thought, what this how that, will affect on granddaughter, to the actor it seemed, what to nothing not understands, that's why he decided all say. Old woman flared up, screaming, what boy met with heroine total month back, already decided, what knows her better, how grandmother. Andrew answered, what already for a long time is watching for Eugene. That's why sure, what enough fine her knows. Woman ordered to him, to that more, so not spoke, getting up. Actor said, "What more will allow to the girls stay here?" Stretching out Eugene hand, he asked, "Wants Lee she all finish, or same run away with him?" Heroine, I thought, what Andrew always saves her from worries, as she is trying desperately hide my pain. All life, Eugene conducted, with grandmother, what forever condemned her, and with cousin, which perceived all how do, but boy always stretched out to the girl, hand help the most, or for her time. Understanding sight Andrew, confident voice, how beam hopes this unfair darkness. Although once, heroine wanted trust to him. Reflections, Eugene again interrupted. On this once, this was her grandmother, screaming to not brave run away. Woman ordered Eugene now, same rise on second floor. However, they objected, having said, what to her? Certainly, it's a pity, but this was her life. Now, heroine all will decide on one's own. Grandmother screamed, what Eugene? Not maybe leave this house. After all, this was her fate, by her opinion. Heroine, not run away from her. Old woman said, to young woman did all. So how she said, and only then. Eugene I was able would become happy, if to not once become similar on my mother, that need to, was listen woman. Grandmother screamed. To heroine, not brave follow for themes, what it's called happiness. Otherwise at Eugene will horrible end, woman asked not admit such finals. Heroine appealed to grandma, having asked question. Maybe, controlling every step girls, just not wanted. To she became similar on my mother. Woman remembered how mother Eugene said, what to her? It's a pity, however she not will become ask forgiveness. Runaway daughter Chairman Dallas suddenly appeared. With this a man, however young woman wanted, to mother saw his own grandson. Woman said, what warned daughter, what if to will leave, that maybe not come back, she not wanted support suffering heroines. But Ta suddenly answered, what lives happily, mother girls, not understood, how she, maybe be glad life with this a man. After all daughter left that future, which she built for heroines. Woman I thought, what when daughter, was as a child, that always listened her, however now all changed. Mother considered, what beloved daughters did life her child unhappy. Woman suggested to the young to a person give all what he will want. To that started new life, leave all behind, she not understood, how that will be able to feed her daughter, with help, sewing clothes. Young woman answered, what mother, all to same, at least heroine, and I thought, what she has changed. Daughter asked her, not worry, after all more, not intended come back this house. Now woman, maybe pretend, as if at her no child. Man tried apologize before mother girls, having said, what they will return, when child will grow up. Suddenly, having looked on daughter, leaving far woman I thought, what too soon will return. However, that moment, she more not knew, what will feel sorry about this all the remaining life. Doctors, not were able to save daughter women. From her, remained only child. With time, woman stopped feel warm, daughters, and erased all memories, what young woman left. She showed baby cozy room, where earlier lived her mother, and not understood how Ta was going to grow here child. It depends on dress, woman remembered to a man, after thinking, what if would not he, that her daughter would alive. Dallas, not could forgive baby. However, now decided, not allow to her accomplish mistake parents. After, woman acquired company, created father Eugene, and dissolved hearing Salon Violet, to forget tragic death daughters. Dallas wanted remember her happy. Now she to nobody, not could allow take away at her granddaughter. Eugene asked if her grandmother thought of her the same way she did of her mother. The woman was outraged that the blood of her daughter and that man flowed through her granddaughter, and therefore the heroine's life would be miserable. It had always been strange to Eugene why so many strangers appeared in her life. The heroine did not understand whether her grandmother wanted to marry her off or just get her out of sight. The real reason was unclear. Audrey was about to ask something, but Chairman Dallas interrupted her, continuing the dialogue with Eugene. saying that the girl's mother said that the woman did not understand and did not know her. She always wanted to get out of this, but made a huge mistake. The grandmother shouted that it could only be safe at home, so he would not allow his granddaughter to leave him. The girl must remember how her mother died. If the heroine leaves, she will have the same life. Eugene replied that it was Chairman Dallas who was the cause of her mother's unhappiness, and now she was suffocating her granddaughter with her control. The woman was outraged that when her daughter met that man, her life was cut short, so the grandmother refused to accept the heroine. Eugene replied that she was not her mother or the chairman's granddaughter, and would no longer allow herself to be controlled. Moreover, the girl intended to leave with Andrew. However, the heroine's hand was intercepted by her grandmother, who shouted at her not to dare leave the house. Looking into the woman's eyes, Eugene replied that she would return here tomorrow. The girl promised that she would not disappear like her mother, that she would be there whenever needed. The heroine asked to trust, to look at her not as a mother, but as Eugene Ray, who would become happy. Taking both of her grandmother's hands in hers, the girl asked if they couldn't live like that. A couple of minutes later, Eugene was sitting in her lover's car, wiping away her tears with a white handkerchief. Putting her hands on her knees, she said that since the guy heard what happened, she would tell him everything. Eugene started by saying that she and Audrey Dallas were sisters. The girl lied to Andrew, and the proposal wasn't even serious, but now everything is different. That day, the heroine felt that she had made the right choice. Now she really liked the actor. She could say this with confidence. Suddenly, Eugene asked if Andrew had feelings for her. He answered in the affirmative, saying that he was still serious in his decision. The heroine asked the guy to tell her everything he knew. The actor said that he first saw Eugene in a cafe. Perhaps she does not remember this, because they were going to meet others. 3 months ago, Andrew had to change his filming schedule, all because of a blind date. The hero was worried about what would happen if people found out about this, especially the press. After all, he was a famous actor. Suddenly, an unfamiliar girl sat down next to the guy and started a conversation, during which she said that she was a big fan of Andrew, and that meeting him was like a dream for her interlocutor. While chatting, she accidentally spilled the drink on herself and hurried to the restroom. Andrew breathed a sigh of relief when suddenly someone's voice addressed him. The hero was afraid that he was recognized and hurried to cover his face with his hands. A stranger sitting behind a screen behind him spoke to him, and it seemed to her that the guy did not like the girl who came on a blind date, to which the latter agreed, saying that he was forced to attend it. Hearing Andrew's heavy sighs, the interlocutor assumed that it was his first time at such events. He again answered in the affirmative, asking why he had not heard the stranger's sigh. She referred to the fact that she had already gotten used to it. The hero wanted to turn around, but he couldn't, fearing that if he did, the girl would disappear. The stranger decided to give advice on the viewing, saying that Andrew needed to run away and not be like her. The girl said that when that man returns, it is necessary to tell the truth and leave, because if you continue to waste your life in vain, then later you can regret it very much. Andrew wanted to ask what all this meant, but by that moment his companion had returned. The girl smiled sweetly, asking where they would go today, perhaps eat somewhere or watch a movie. Remembering the words of the stranger behind the screen, Andrew resolutely replied that he could no longer continue this meeting. The hero's brother-in-law, who worked in a cafe, complained that he had just gone and ruined the date. While the guy was watching the CCTV footage, pointing his finger at one of the visitors, Andrew asked his interlocutor if he knew her. He replied that she was one of the regular customers who came here almost every week. Apparently, she had dates here, and there was no other choice but to come. The brother-in-law asked why the hero was trying to find out specifically about Eugene Ray, but he was immersed in his own thoughts. The guy assumed that Andrew didn't know how to justify himself to his mother, but that wasn't the point. The actor fell in love with Eugene at first sight. The hero believed that there was nothing special in the feeling that he played so often, but it made him think about Eugene, time and time again. Ever since Andrew was awarded Best Actor, people have been calling him the national actor. The hero began to act in various projects, films and TV series, and receive awards. Having been accustomed to cameras since childhood, the guy learned patience in show business, trying his best. Everyone around him urged him to put up with the unpleasant circumstances, but the hero simply tried to come to terms with it. After Eugene's words, Andrew realized that he had always held back and controlled himself, continued to do what others said, remained silent, simply stayed where he was. For the first time, someone told the guy to run, and it was Eugene, with whom the hero wanted to see more often. It won't be easy, as Andrew had to leave Seoul for filming. Returning back, the hero and his brother-in-law watched Eugene's next unsuccessful date. As it turned out, the girl had been coming to see the bride all this time. Her matchmaker was a real devil. It seemed to Andrew that the heroine wanted to run away, and his brother-in-law called him amazing, because 2 months had already passed. But as soon as the work was over, the actor immediately rushed to the cafe. The guy replied that he wanted to formally meet Eugene, so he was waiting for this date to end. He didn't think that everything would be so terrible. Suddenly, Andrew's brother-in-law said that the girl had taken a vow of celibacy. He continued by saying that Eugene was the director of Violet's bridal salon, which shocked the actor even more. My brother-in-law's cousin ordered a dress from him and later spoke very warmly about the owner. Lost in thought, Andrew asked if Eugene was happy. He continued to bombard his brother-in-law with questions about whether the girl sacrifices herself for others and whether she has her own happiness, to which the latter replied that he did not know. Seeing Andrew's sad look, his brother-in-law suggested that he go to the viewing, since he was so worried. He continued by telling the actor to make this request to his mother, explaining that he wanted to meet the granddaughter of the head of the Serum Corporation, Eugene Ray. Andrew was worried that the girl might not like him, since she had a negative opinion about blind dates. Clutching his head, he thought that he had ruined the first impression of himself, and now Eugene would not agree to a relationship with the hero. Andrew's interlocutor noted that the girl is very attentive, and if you talk to her, you do so sincerely. Suddenly, the actor turned to him, saying that he understood why the man had won the heart of the hero's sister. After all, his brother-in-law, in Andrew's opinion, was the only person who helped him in life. Before the next shoot, the guy called his mother, who was very surprised by his request, because just 2 months ago, he said that he did not want to get married. Andrew whispered that the woman should write to the family of Eugene Ray, the granddaughter of the Serum Corporation. The interlocutor was ready to come to the wedding, but the actor said that first they needed to get acquainted. Mom agreed, which made the hero happy, because now he just needed to meet the girl. However, when Andrew was sent a photo by the grandchildren of the Serum Corporation, he was shocked, not understanding why everything was happening this way. The image featured Audrey Dallas, who was a complete stranger to the actor. With this news, Andrew went to his brother-in-law, asking him who the girl in the photo was. The man replied that it was cousin Eugene, the president's second granddaughter. The hero was very surprised, because everyone knew only one granddaughter. As it turned out, she was Audrey Dallas. The actor demanded to tell him everything right now, but the interlocutor refused, saying that he had no right to discuss someone else's personal life. Despite the current situation, Andrew was still determined to go on a blind date with Eugene, no matter how hidden her life was from prying eyes. However, Serum, who from the very beginning seemed to have never even heard of such a name, sent a photo of Audrey Dallas as a date partner. Andrew found this strange, since the family treated Eugene as if she didn't exist. The brother-in-law replied that he was wrong to think that it would be simple, because if the matter is related to relatives, then it is clearly not simple. Andrew said that he alone did not understand anything, but the man said that he also did not know anything. He only remembered what Eugene told him when she was drunk. The information that the girl's parents got married, despite disagreements in the family, and that the mother died when their daughter was born shocked the hero. Eugene herself considered herself a harbinger of misfortune. Her brother-in-law suggested that it must have been because of her parents' actions that the heroine had a hard time. In his opinion, this was one of the reasons why Sarum wanted the actor to meet someone else. Andrew asked if Eugene knew that all blind dates would be like this, but her brother-in-law replied that every time the girl returned from a date, she felt terribly ill. The guy didn't understand why Sarum wanted to push away from him, the person the hero was destined to meet. Andrew was also worried that Eugene didn't know who he was and might get upset or angry. Now the actor had to think about what to do so as not to harm the girl. Once inside the house, Eugene asked what Andrew had come up with. He smiled, saying that their first meeting was quite natural. As it turned out, the filming in Violet was because of the hero. He contributed a little to its organization. Since it was Eugene, the guy could tell it like it was. Andrew had to fork out a lot of money to persuade the director to film in the salon. Eugene laughed, finding it funny, and the hero replied that he was worried that the girl might get angry with him. The guy admitted that he was more worried than she could have thought, since he told her everything too late. Andrew said he was being careful because he didn't want Eugene to suffer even more. He was afraid that the girl might again have a bad opinion of him. The chance meeting turned out to be a breath of fresh air for the hero. The fact that Eugene approached first seemed like a miracle. Andrew could not let her go. The guy asked not to dwell on the quarrel that happened at home. The girl doesn't owe anything. After all, now the heroine was, first and foremost, his. Andrew confessed his love to Eugene and then kissed her tenderly. Already at work, the girl called her lover and asked if he had slept well, to which he replied negatively, saying that he had not seen her when he woke up. Andrew, hearing the heroine's voice, realized that he missed her madly and then promised to pick up Eugene during the day. Embarrassed, the girl said goodbye to the guy when suddenly an unfamiliar man approached her. He smiled radiantly and then asked for advice on what flowers to choose if the hero was heading to a meeting with someone very important to him. Eugene asked what this man liked, but the stranger replied that he did not know because they were seeing each other for the first time. Then the girl pointed to the display case, offering the flowers that were standing there. The man replied that it seemed they liked the same thing, thereby causing the girl's confusion. The heroine said that yellow flowers would be better. The stranger agreed with her and then thanked her, considering that it would be a wonderful gift. He soon said goodbye to Eugene, addressing her by name. The girl called out to the man, asking him to wait, because she didn't remember saying her name. At the office, Eugene met with Lo and asked if there were any problems with work. Julia replied that everything was fine, and then asked if the director would like to talk about yesterday. The heroine was confused, but thought that if she didn't tell, her assistant wouldn't leave her alone. Having gathered herself, Eugene said that she had dealt with the villainous Granny and Princess Audrey. Now she and Andrew Will were in a relationship. Julia was happy, saying that this was great news. While the heroine was talking to her assistant, two unfamiliar girls were discussing the appearance of some guy, calling him cool and cute. Eugene asked what was going on, and it turned out that filming was taking place in the lobby today. Looking down, the girl saw Andrew surrounded by spotlights and equipment, and Julia, giggling, reminded who was lucky to be dating such a handsome man. This time the guy played a perfectionist, domineering owner of a wedding salon. Eugene said that this role did not suit him at all. Julia disagreed, replying that the forums were buzzing about how the actors were perfectly cast. Eugene felt as if Andrew was a different person, completely different from himself. The director announced the start of filming, and the guy quickly got into character and started playing. However, seeing Eugene, who was watching him from the second floor, he smiled happily at her, breaking character. The director stopped filming, and the strangers began to whisper, wondering why the actor suddenly smiled. They suggested that there was someone here that Andrew liked, embarrassing Eugene with their words. Approaching the heroine, Lo said that she should leave now. The girl agreed and hurried to leave the place, hearing how the strangers continued to guess who Andrew liked. Eugene went to her office and got to work, pouring herself some coffee. Suddenly, Andrew opened the door to the room. Smiling broadly, he turned to the girl, and he himself resembled her puppy. The heroine was surprised by his sudden appearance and asked what he was doing there in the middle of filming. Andrew replied that he had filmed all the scenes in which he participated, and then apologized to Eugene, saying that he did not expect to meet her eyes. She replied that everything was fine. The girl was talking about how she was afraid of disturbing the actor and that she should take a day off during filming, when suddenly the hero sniffed her, saying that he felt the familiar scent of perfume that one of his friends uses. Eugene asked if it was a girl or a guy, and then said that she had recently met a man buying flowers who asked her to help her choose a bouquet. Andrew wondered why he decided to behave like that with a stranger. The girl replied that he might have confused her with an ordinary employee. The actor asked if anything had happened, and if that guy had offended Eugene. She said that nothing like that had happened. However, she remembered how the stranger addressed her by a name that she did not mention. The heroine was pulled out of her thoughts by Andrew's voice. She asked if it was time for him to go to the shoot, because they could be suspected, and the guy replied that then he would just tell everyone who his girlfriend was. Eugene promised to get angry, but the actor said that she was overdoing it, because they spent the night together, and the heroine did not understand what he was talking about, because they slept in different rooms. Andrew pretended to be upset, replying that his beloved had changed so much, but the girl turned away, saying that their relationship should be kept a secret for now. The actor approached Eugene from behind, hugged her, and said how he could keep the secret now if he wanted to see the girl more and more often each time. But his interlocutor asked her to be patient, at least for the duration of the filming. Andrew said that his patience would require a reward and hugged the flushed heroine by the cheek. Eugene asked what exactly he wanted, and the actor approached her. Laughing, Andrew asked if he could kiss the heroine, and she nodded, touching her lips. Afterwards, the actor stepped back a little and invited Eugene to stay at his house this time too. The girl, smiling, answered that it was impossible because she had promised to visit her house. Entering her room, Eugene heard her grandmother's voice, who was again grumbling that the heroine had come late, despite the fact that she had been told to return earlier. But the women were calm. The girl went upstairs, but Chairman Dallas asked if she was really not going to talk at all now. However, Eugene replied that she had kept her promise and left her grandmother alone in the hall. Going up to her room, the heroine thought that, although she was similar to her parents, her fate would be different. The girl hoped that her grandmother would at least understand this, while the woman's eyes filled with tears. Eugene herself also cried. Already at dinner, the heroine noticed that, to her surprise, after that very day, silence reigned in the house. Audrey left in the morning and returned only in the evening. Chairman Dallas became taciturn, as if she was thinking about something. Once the storm died down, everything fell into place. Audrey's friend was happily getting married, as she had planned. Eugene watched the entire procession, controlling the celebration. The girl came to the office to see Director Violet, thanking her for making the wedding go smoothly. And then she handed Eugene a gift. The girl said that the summer heat had made it very stuffy, and the heroine turned to Lo, asking him to bring her something refreshing. Christy was talking about her vacation, looking at a photo from which even Audrey wanted to spend her honeymoon there. As it turned out, the latter had a blind date planned, which Eugene did not even know about. The engagement with Andrew was broken off. The grandmother promised her granddaughter to find a more suitable match, and the girl herself said that she herself left the actor. Christy didn't know why Audrey's sister didn't even know about this, and assumed they had a bad relationship. Eugene replied that they were not interested in each other's work, but her interlocutor sharply asked why the heroine had taken her sister's boyfriend away. The girl was embarrassed, and Christy, calling her a mistress, said that she knew about everything. Eugene wanted to say something, but her interlocutor asked her not to worry, since she was not going to spread rumors about the couple. Christy admitted that she was the one who showed Audrey the pictures of Andrew and the heroine. Eugene tried to contain her rising anger until she found out the girl's intentions. Christy asked not to be so tense because she came to apologize. She explained the reason for her actions. The girl did it because she thought that Eugene was trying to take the guy away from Audrey, because no matter how crazy she was still a friend. Christy said she changed her mind about heroin. In the interview she watched, Andrew looked so happy that she began to think that something didn't add up. After listening, Eugene said that she had no reason to tell her interlocutor everything, but the heroine could swear to something. She didn't even have any motive to steal her sister's boyfriend. Christy apologized, saying that she was desperate at the time and was afraid that her wedding preparations would drag on. Eugene said that it was difficult for her to accept this and move on. She hoped that the heroines would not meet again, and this was their last conversation. The girl continued that she hoped that Christy was happy with the wedding, which Violet's salon itself had organized, was all she could say. Meanwhile, Andrew was rereading the script on the set when he was suddenly called. The red-haired girl said that they had a script together, and the director told them to rehearse it in advance. She turned out to be actress Cheryl Palmer. Andrew told her that he was preparing for another episode and asked if it was really that urgent. The heroine replied that this important part would hardly work out the first time. Is it difficult to devote at least a minute? The actor agreed, and they began to study the script. Cheryl said the scene wasn't originally like that. It was changed. Eugene, who was watching the process, heard the phrases of two strangers who wondered if Andrew and the actress were dating. Lowe, who was standing nearby, noted that Cheryl Palmer works very hard. The girl has a pleasant character and a high level of skill, which is why she is so close to her colleagues. Julia, worried about the director, asked if everything would be okay. Eugene replied that it was just work. The assistant shook her head, not knowing what to do, because the film would be in the romance genre, and there would be that very scene. Eugene didn't know what this episode was, and moved closer to hear what Lowe would say. She whispered to the heroine that this was a scene with a title that began with Potsy and ended with Louis. Eugene came to Andrew. He asked how she found out, because today he received the script for this episode. There was this scene. The girl confirmed her guesses, jumping up from the table. Afterwards, the actor added that it would be a long kiss, which shocked the heroine even more. Eugene couldn't believe that this was going to be the passionate kiss she thought it would be. Andrew asked if everything was okay. As the girl looked bad, she replied that everything was fine. She just thought for a second. Waving her hands, the heroine asked if events were developing too quickly. The kiss would be in episode 4, but the characters knew each other so little. However, according to the plot, the proposal was made already in the first episode. The girl blushed from embarrassment, and Andrew smiled, glad that Eugene knew how to be jealous. The heroine denied everything, saying that she did not agree with it at all. In her opinion, everything was completely different, and the actor was only touched by the girl's reaction. Exhaling, Eugene said that everything was fine, and asked her not to worry about it. But Andrew was still worried. The girl replied that the kiss in the movie is just a game, and after it, the series will definitely be at the top in terms of views, because that's what all the actors and producers want. Giving a thumbs up, Eugene said she was looking forward to the episode. Her words greatly surprised Andrew, and the heroine realized that she had gone a little overboard. Of course, she was jealous, but she shouldn't forget that her beloved was an actor. Something like this would happen again and again, and she shouldn't react to it so harshly. Eugene didn't want to interfere with the guy's work. She simply had no other choice. The heroine said that she trusts Andrew. He won't fall in love just after a kissing scene. The actor agreed, but then said that the wedding episode would be filmed in Violet, and he wanted to get engaged to Eugene first. Andrew asked if it wouldn't be better for them to get married right away. He didn't want the girl to be upset because he was forced to constantly play the role of a man in love. otherwise a scandal would break out. Putting his arm around Eugene, he said he didn't know what to do if she got offended. The heroine laughed, replying that everything was indeed fine, and then patted the guy on the head. Eugene would be lying if she said she wasn't jealous, but she was convinced every time that Andrew loved only her. He wanted the girl to always believe him. After asking permission, the actor approached the heroine and kissed her. While rehearsing the script, Andrew was suddenly called out by a member of the film crew, who asked if the guy had crossed paths with the vice president. The employee said that he had promised to drop by Violet, but the actor couldn't understand why he would come there. It was strange, because the president never came to the filming. He clearly needed something else. Andrew was distracted by the message that came in. After reading it, he said that it seemed like a storm was coming. The employee did not understand what was going on, but the nervous actor said that they were coming to the country. Meanwhile, Sebastian Pierce, vice president of Star Company, was sitting in Eugene's office. He apologized for visiting so late and then introduced himself. The girl thought the name sounded familiar to her. Andrew worked at the agency. Sebastian confirmed her suspicions, saying that her lover had told her a lot about the heroine. Eugene assumed that then the man must know her. He hoped that the girl would also remember who he was. Sebastian didn't want to scare the heroine. As it turned out, he wanted to greet her, but Andrew forbade him to greet her. The man said that it would be difficult to explain all this, so he asked to accept his apology. The hero handed Eugene a bouquet that he had bought at the flower shop earlier. It was already quite wilted and not fresh. The girl froze, not knowing what to do now. Eugene asked if there was a reason why she should accept a bouquet from a man. Sebastian replied that he wanted to earn the heroine's trust. He continued by saying that there was one more issue to discuss and placed a photograph from the reporters on the table. The girl blushed, not understanding how this photo got into their hands. Sebastian was glad that he was able to stop everything before it went out. However, he was not sure if he could do the same next time. Eugene tried to justify herself, but the man interrupted her, saying that everything was fine. He understood the state the heroine was in now, and knowing about Andrew's feelings, he decided to support the couple. However, everything was not so simple. Andrew Will is a successful actor, one might say. At the height of his career, the girl understood this perfectly well. Sebastian asked the heroine to stay away from the actor for a while. Eugene guessed that this was why the president came, but she did not want a part like this, because she and her lover had only been together for a short time. The girl was about to say something, but the man interrupted her, again to clarify his own words. He suddenly asked why Eugene and Andrew didn't live together, which greatly surprised the heroine. She froze, not understanding what Sebastian meant, but he smiled radiantly. She asked if he hadn't told them a couple of minutes ago to stay away from each other. The man agreed, but explained that this should only be done in public. But when the heroes are left alone, then, according to him, they could be as naughty as they please. Because lovers cannot live apart, Sebastian said that they want to see each other day and night. Eugene, of course, expected a slightly different reaction, and then asked permission to ask one indecent question. The girl asked if Sebastian was married. Perhaps he had a girlfriend, but the hero replied that he was single and alone. She wanted to know if the man had any thoughts about their couple, but he sharply replied that he did not. Eugene said she thought Sebastian was going to ask her to break up with Andrew. The man asked if she would have done it then, and smiled while the heroine sat frozen. Sebastian said that this is usually what famous agencies offer, but his goal was longevity, so there was no point in forcibly separating the lovers. However, he still asked to try not to get caught by the paparazzi. Since Andrew Will was in a relationship, the man was more than pleased. Since the actor has emotional trauma, the president thought that the guy would not even be able to date anyone, let alone talk about marriage. Eugene wanted to ask Sebastian to tell her about it, but Julia entered the room, apologizing. She was carrying a tray with cups of tea in her hands. The man watched intently as the assistant placed the drinks on the table. Eugene suggested they discuss everything over tea, and then asked if Andrew really had any injuries, causing Sebastian to spit the liquid back into his cup. The man felt very awkward and asked if he had really said that, and the girl confirmed that it had happened just a minute ago. Sebastian tried to say that he misspoke, but Eugene noticed that he was embarrassed and assured him that she would not ask any more questions. The hero thanked her and then asked permission to ask one question. Blushing, Sebastian said that Secretary Eugene, who had recently entered the office, had attracted him. Later, the girl looked at the article that the company had blocked to make sure everything was okay. However, she was distracted by Andrew, who immediately after the end of filming went to the heroine. He asked why Sebastian came. The heroine said that the photo of the couple got to reporters. Andrew said that he was anxious being alone, and then apologized to Eugene, who asked him not to worry because the agency had already taken care of everything. The actor asked if Sebastian had done anything stupid. Of course, the guy knew that he was not like that, but he was still worried. The heroine replied that nothing like that had happened. Eugene considered whether to tell Andrew that the man had taken a liking to Julia, but decided that it would be unnecessary. The girl suddenly suggested going to dinner together, and the actor became upset, asking why she changed the subject so quickly. The heroine replied that it was all because she would rather go to a restaurant. Eugene, blushing slightly, said that people were looking at the couple and it was a little annoying. So Andrew decided to rent out the entire restaurant. Both of them, full of happiness, laughed, leaning their foreheads against each other. A few days later, the vice president visited Violet again, and he followed Julia everywhere. Suddenly, the man met Eugene, who noticed that he had come again. The girl said that Andrew mentioned that the president was rarely present on the set. Sebastian, scratching his head, replied that he became interested in how things were here, and from now on he plans to come more often. Eugene stated that the man had been in the salon for several days. As if he had been following her, he clearly liked someone in Violet. The heroine asked if Sebastian had fallen in love, and he suddenly realized that the feeling he was experiencing could really be love. Smiling, he replied that he seemed to have fallen in love at first sight. These words were heard by Julia and Andrew, the latter tensely asking who the man had fallen in love with. The angry actor stood in front of his girlfriend, and then he shouted at Sebastian, asking how he could do something like that. The president didn't understand what he was talking about, because he fell in love at first sight, but Julia interrupted him. Smiling, Lo said she would like to watch this love triangle, but she also has things to do. The assistant decided that she would probably leave first and said goodbye, despite Sebastian's attempts to stop her. Turning to Andrew, the man tried to explain the situation, calling what had happened a misunderstanding. Eugene separated the heroes, who were about to quarrel again, and ordered them to stop. The girl demanded to discuss everything in another place, where there would be no extra ears. Andrew asked the man why he was doing this and confessing to the actor's girlfriend, but Sebastian replied that this was not the case. After all, the one to whom he would confess his feelings was not Eugene, but the girl standing next to him. The man decided that he could not stay there any longer and hurried away, asking the heroine to explain everything to Andrew the idiot. The actor suddenly asked what about the flowers he had heard about from Julia. Seeing that they had withered, Andrew was glad, because if they had been fresh, he clearly would not have let Sebastian go. Suddenly, Eugene said that it seemed like the guy and the president were quite close. Andrew replied that he was very grateful to the man, as he helped him in a very bad time. If it were not for Sebastian, Andrew would not be here anymore. Eugene suddenly said that she apparently didn't know the actor very well, and then asked what, for example, he liked as a child. Andrew pretended to think about it, and then replied that he only liked the heroine, which made her blush. Since Eugene wanted to know about her childhood, the guy suggested that she look at the photos on her phone. The image on the social network showed Andrew's entire family. Everyone was laughing except him. After looking at it, the actor suggested showing a few more. After seeing the photo, Eugene said that her lover in those pictures was such a naughty boy. The hero replied that his sisters always teased him. Turning to the girl, Andrew pointed to an image on his phone that showed one of the sisters. The actor said that if the heroine saw her, she should leave immediately. Eugene objected, because she looked pretty, but the guy asked her not to let herself be deceived. The girl thought that they would never meet because they were in different countries, but the news that Andrew's sisters were returning shocked her greatly. The one in the photo was called Adele. The actor once again reminded Eugene that as soon as he met her, he should immediately run away without looking back. In the evening, when she came home, the girl saw her grandmother and Audrey and told the women that they needed to talk. Suddenly, the old woman announced that Eugene needed to leave the house. Later, Andrew said that he heard that the girl was looking for housing. The heroine asked how he found out about it. As it turned out, Julia told him. Hearing this, Lo remembered that she still had some things to do and hurried out of the office. Eugene said she would stay in Violet for a while, but Andrew offered to help, saying he knew a good place. That house had a beautiful view, and there were many amenities around, and it was also close to the heroine's salon. Eugene tensed, saying she thought she knew what place he was talking about. And then I asked Andrew if he didn't mean his house. The guy replied that it wasn't so, greatly surprising Eugene. The heroine was shocked, but Andrew confirmed that it was not his house. The guy asked the girl if she really hoped that he would offer to live together, which made her very embarrassed. Seeing Eugene's embarrassment, Andrew chuckled and then added that their houses would be close by. The hero said that his close friend lived there, but there was a good reason to move out. Andrew continued, saying that the conditions there were very good, and if Eugene saw the house in person, she would like it. There, the girl was met by the actor's smiling assistant, who asked if she liked the apartment. She had already started to tell about all the amenities, but Eugene asked her to wait a second. The heroine remembered that during their last meeting, the girl said that she lived next door to Andrew. Eugene wanted to look at a few more options, but her interlocutor took her hand, saying that this could not be done, since they had already moved all the furniture. The girl said that she had always dreamed of having her own dressing room, and in the new house, it was just attached to her room. However, if Eugene refused this offer, then these dreams could be forgotten. Having heard this, the heroine decided that she would still go with this option. And so it happened. Eugene moved into the house opposite Andrew Will. The girl wanted to enter her new home, but realized that its owner did not tell her the code. Eugene wanted to ask Andrew, since the password was the same as his, but she heard footsteps. A stranger approached the heroine and asked what she was doing there. Eugene thought it was a resident of the house and said that she had moved here recently, but the girl, after listening to her, chuckled and left. The heroine realized that she had not heard the sound of the door opening, but decided that she was simply not herself. Eugene received a notification from Andrew and was finally able to enter the apartment. However, the stranger that the girl saw froze right outside her door. Meanwhile, Andrew's son-in-law, Kai Smith, was trying to find someone at the airport. The man was called out by Adele, the fourth of the actor's sisters, who waved at him. Mary and Becky, Andrew's second and third twin sisters, walked alongside. Kai apologized for the wait and then asked why the girls suddenly decided to fly to the country so soon. One of them answered that she was shocked to hear about the latest news. The man asked what they were talking about, and the sisters said that their little brother had fallen in love, and very much so. Kai didn't understand how they found out about this. It turned out that his wife told him everything. Adele showed him a photo of Eugene, and then she asked to take her to Andrew right away. Meanwhile, in Violet, Julia was beaming with joy as she congratulated the principal. She admired the bouquet Andrew had sent for Eugene, imagining how difficult it must have been to get the flowers to the house. The assistant asked what the girl was feeling, and then said that it would soon come to a wedding, because if they woke up every day and saw each other in the window, then soon they would live together. Julia admired their couple, and then asked if they would sleep together, which greatly embarrassed Eugene. Suddenly, the heroine asked Lo about something personal. Perhaps she liked someone. The assistant was so concerned about developing other people's relationships and was focused on work. However, if someone had caught her eye, she would have given him a chance. A tense Julia thanked Eugene for his interest, and then she added that talking about the development of other people's relationships is undoubtedly much more fun. She doubted it, and then asked me to look back and take a closer look sometimes. After all, perhaps someone suitable was already in Julia's circle. Eugene decided that the assistant could leave early today, as she needed time to get a better look at her world. The heroine promised to finish the remaining work, and if Lo finds his love, she will receive a bonus. Julia agreed, but asked if she could get money in return. Already fanned out, Eugene entered her office as usual, greeting the next guest. However, in her office, she saw Andrew's fourth sister. The heroine remembered that her name was Adele, as well as the words of the actor, who advised her to leave immediately as soon as Eugene saw the girl. She decided to tell Andrew about it, but his sister called her over and then said that she was surprised that Eugene liked 19-year-olds. These words discouraged the heroine. She froze, and Adele asked if she really didn't like them. Eugene thought that she might be being tested now, and then clarified what the girl meant by that. Adele said that she meant, for example, pornography, but the heroine replied that she had no idea and had never even thought about such a thing. And then she added that if something similar happened with Andrew, she would definitely like it. Exhaling, Adele said that apparently Eugene really did like him. The girl apologized, as the heroine might have been scared, and then explained that she came today to look at the wedding dress, but when she saw Eugene, questions arose. The heroine asked if Adele was perhaps looking for a dress for herself, but she replied that she knew which one she wanted, and then clarified that she needed 2 wedding dresses. Eugene asked, saying what the girl would wear after the wedding ceremony. But it turned out that the main representatives of the wedding would be 2 women. The heroine was surprised, and then continued the conversation with Adele. Suddenly, Eugene called out to Andrew, who had rushed into the salon. Adele turned to the heroine and said that she would not want the girl to be taken away by someone like her brother. She smiled and looked at Eugene, then asked if she had done anything wrong. Andrew stood in front of the heroine, covering her with himself, and asked Adele what she wanted from his girlfriend. Was she really flirting? The guy continued, indignant. Where had it been seen that a sister would take a partner away from her brother? After that, one of the magazines thrown by the girl flew at him. Glaring angrily at her brother, Adele told him to die, which seriously scared Eugene. She was indignant that Andrew dared to go against his older sister, and he was indignant that she was the first to start hitting on his girlfriend. Adele chuckled, saying the guy talks too much for someone who is secretive about his relationship. Andrew hugged Eugene, replying that they would be together in sorrow and in joy, that fate itself had brought them together. However, Adele pushed him away from the heroine, remembering that they had not yet finished talking with the girl. She shook Eugene's hand, introduced herself, saying that she works as a writer and is also the 4th sister of Andrew the Bastard. The heroine replied that she was glad to meet her, also giving her name. The girl continued, saying that she was Violet's manager and that she and the actor had a serious relationship. Adele asked if they were thinking about getting engaged, and, hearing an affirmative answer, was delighted, not understanding why Eugene chose Andrew. The heroine changed the subject, asking what kind of works her interlocutor wrote. The girl said that it was not difficult for her to tell. The only question was whether director Violet would like them. After all, Adele was only a 19-year-old writer, and Eugene was very surprised to hear this. However, the girl continued, saying that despite her age, she is called a master of her craft. Andrew looked around, asking where the other sisters were, and Adele replied that she didn't know where the eldest was, and Mary and Becky went shopping. The girl said that it was time for her to go, because she had promised to meet them after she finished all her business. Winking at Eugene, Adele suggested that they have a bite to eat together sometime, and she was even willing to stay in the country for that. Andrew was about to ask why she would do that when another magazine flew at him. Adele came closer to the heroine, saying that they needed to talk alone because there was something that Eugene should know. The girls said goodbye, and Andrew was indignant that his sister hadn't even told him yet. As Eugene watched Adele leave, she wondered what the story was that she needed to know. As soon as the girl left the salon, Sarah called her. She was indignant that all she had to do was say hello and leave, because she and her husband had been waiting for Adele for a very long time. As the girl was getting into the car, Sarah asked her how Andrew was doing, and she replied that he looked much happier now. Kai asked if they had met Eugene. Adele said yes, noting that she was a good girl. The heroine decided that her brother loved Eugene very much and was worried that this could play a cruel joke on him. And then I thought that perhaps it was because of his beloved that Andrew had changed so much. In her thoughts, Adele asked Eugene not to leave her brother. The sisters were on the girl's side. In the salon, Andrew asked the heroine if his sister had scared her, and she replied that everything was fine. After he added that he was the only one in the family who had a bad relationship with Adele, Eugene patted the guy on the back to support him. She said that everything was ahead, and Andrew asked what the girl was talking about. Eugene replied that the relationship between the actor and Adele was like some kind of TV series, and it was very interesting to watch. As children, Andrew and his sister had very similar tastes, which caused them to constantly quarrel, but he could not believe that she would try to take even a girl. Eugene chuckled, saying that it was fun to watch the guy from a completely different side. And then she added that next to his sisters, Andrew is just like a child, shocking the actor with her words. The guy was upset, and the heroine didn't understand what happened to him. Unexpectedly, the actor pulled Eugene towards him and kissed her tenderly, and he asked if a child could do that, and the girl replied that only if he was already quite an adult. Andrew suggested that they go home together, putting his arm around his beloved's waist. Coming closer, Eugene giggled, saying that the guy was able to get there on his own. Then Andrew asked if he could drop in on the heroine today. However, despite the guy's expectations, Eugene did not agree, reminding them that they should be careful. The girl asked the actor to be patient, and he resigned himself to agreeing with her. At that time, Eugene had no idea that after moving she would meet one person. The heroine was cleaning her house, unpacking boxes. Tired of work, she wondered if it was even worth it, and sighed heavily. Suddenly, among the unsorted things, she saw a cockroach. Eugene was seriously scared, huddling in a corner, away from the insect. The girl thought about how to kill the cockroach, and then began looking for her phone. The cockroach crawled towards the heroine, and she screamed loudly, moving further away from it. Eugene opened the door for Andrew to come in and pointed to the insect. The guy walked into the room, asking what was wrong, and the nervous heroine said, "Welcome." The actor looked around the room, and Eugene said that nothing special had happened, just a cockroach. Seeing it, Andrew pinned the insect with a rag, while the girl hid around the corner. After the guy said that sometimes it is necessary to check the delivery, since there could be anything in the box, Eugene thanked him for his assistance. Andrew asked if the heroine needed help with cleaning, and the girl asked if the actor was okay, as he looked tired. The guy replied that in such moments, it is simply necessary to call your beloved. Looking at the walls, Andrew said they were too empty and suggested hanging some pictures, but Eugene said she had no photographs. This is all because no one played with the girl when she was a child, and now she is an adult. The guy saw that the heroine was sad and decided to offer her an idea. Suddenly, Andrew asked Eugene out on a date because the series he was filming was airing tomorrow, and then they could go somewhere else. The guy asked what place the heroine would like to visit. She replied that she didn't know and wanted to know her lover's opinion. The actor suggested that the girl go to an amusement park. Andrew came to it, looking like a real fashionista. Clutching her head, Eugene asked if the guy had gone too far, and he replied that no one would recognize him for sure. Upset, he asked if he was disgracing the girl, but the heroine said that this was not the case at all. Taking his beloved by the hands, Andrew asked where they should start. Eugene answered that she didn't know. After all, it was her first time here. He suggested going on a roller coaster, and the heroine tried to find out whether the actor had ridden one before. The guy said that it happened in childhood, but he didn't remember the moment very well. Andrew wanted the couple to have some funny memories, so he will be accompanying Eugene today. The actor was about to continue talking about his plans when suddenly his phone vibrated in his pocket. Andrew tensed, staring at the gadget, and fell silent. Eugene looked at him, asking what happened, but the guy replied that it was just spam. Putting a mask on his face, he invited the girl to go have fun. Together they fooled around, trying on different headbands with ears. And then they went on the roller coaster. Andrew was happy, and Eugene was a little tense. While buying cotton candy, the guy acted as if he was not himself. At that moment, the heroine realized that he really is a good actor. On the next ride, Eugene was overjoyed, but Andrew was a little afraid. Already closer to evening, the girl was resting, sitting on the edge of the fountain and humming a song. She thought that having fun with her beloved at the amusement park was really wonderful. Suddenly, a notification came to Andrew's phone lying nearby. The gadget received a multitude of notifications, and it vibrated again and again. The girl was surprised by such a number of messages, not understanding what was happening. Meanwhile, Andrew walked towards the heroine with churro sticks, thinking that the reason the amusement park was so much fun was because he was with Eugene. Approaching her, the actor looked out from behind her, asking how long the girl had been waiting. Seeing his phone, Andrew asked what Eugene was doing in his hands. The heroine answered that someone was constantly writing to the guy. After reading the notifications from the unknown number, the actor froze, thinking. The girl asked if Andrew knew this person, but he again replied that it was just spam. Eugene was bothered by the fact that the actor was receiving so many mailings, but he said that in our time, it has become commonplace. After a few seconds, Andrew gave in, saying that he couldn't lie anymore. According to him, it was probably another fan. This had happened before. The guy had to change his number. The actors became curious as to how they found out about this, and Eugene suggested contacting the police. But the hero said that he would simply change his number, and then handed the girl a churros to eat before it got cold. Eugene wanted to say something, but Andrew insisted that this was a typical situation for stars, and then asked if he looked like a person capable of betrayal. The heroine was satisfied with this answer, and she still decided to try the snack. After biting into it, the girl was very impressed by the taste. Andrew asked if Eugene liked it, and she nodded quickly. While eating the delicacy, the girl thought that she shouldn't worry. If the actor was okay, then everything was okay. The next day, the heroine was in the restroom and reading the news about the first episode of the series that had been released. Smiling, the girl thought that everything seemed to be really good. The strangers washing their hands discussed the success of the series. One of them said that Andrew played his role well, and the second noted that he gets along well with Cheryl. Hearing the suggestion that the guy was dating an actress, Eugene clutched her phone, and one of the girls said that there was good money to be made from this gossip. Suddenly, Cheryl opened the door to the restroom, interrupting the conversation. When she entered the room, she said that unfortunately this was not the case. Eugene, who was watching all this, was very surprised by the appearance of the actress. Cheryl thanked the strangers for watching the series, and then asked them not to spread rumors, because she was interested exclusively in acting. It had been quite a while since the girl's debut, and she hoped that her efforts would pay off when she received the award for Best Actress. Cheryl didn't want to ruin her career, and one of the strangers, embarrassed, wished her to get this prize. Having hugged her friend, the second girl hurried to leave the room. After they left, Cheryl let out a sigh of relief, saying that it had been quite dangerous. Suddenly, the main character appeared from around the corner, surprising the girl, who did not expect such a thing. Cheryl recognized Violet's director, saying that they had crossed paths a couple of times on set and then asked how Eugene was doing. The heroine opened her notebook, saying that she had become a fan of the actress, who played her role perfectly, and asked her for an autograph. Cheryl thanked him for the compliment and asked where she should sign. Looking at the actress, Eugene thought that she was truly amazing and that she loved and appreciated her work very much. The heroine remembered that she had once been jealous of her interlocutor towards Andrew and was embarrassed. Eugene received a notification on his phone. His lover wrote that the filming was over and suggested meeting in the parking lot. Once there, the heroine looked around, noticing that the actor had not yet arrived. The girl approached Andrew's car and was horrified. There was a sign on the hood that said the actor had changed the password to his apartment. Eugene thought it was too much. The fans had gone too far, especially since it happened in Violet. A joyful Andrew approached the heroine from behind, apologizing for the wait. Seeing that the girl froze, he asked what happened. Eugene pointed at what happened with her finger. Turning his head, the actor noticed what was depicted on his car. Eugene got upset, saying that it was her fault because the parking lot should be more carefully guarded. The guy put his arm around her shoulders, calming her down. Andrew replied that everything was fine and asked not to cry over nonsense. Pressing the heroine to himself, the actor said that he was nearby. Suddenly, a woman's heel appeared around the corner, with Cheryl's script lying next to it. Andrew saw this movement and turned in that direction. He asked who was there, and the female silhouette covered her mouth with her hand. The actor asked Eugene to wait, and he decided to go and check what was there. Coming closer, he scripted Cheryl. The girl appeared from around the corner, saying that she didn't think she had left him there. And then she asked if the heroes understood that she didn't want to eavesdrop. Andrew turned to Eugene, saying that they had something else to discuss and that she could go home for now. Turning around, he asked his beloved not to worry so much, and then he added that he would soon catch up with the girl. Andrew apologized for scaring Cheryl, who said that despite the guy's caution, even a fool would understand that he was dating Eugene. The actress understood why he was so upset, but she promised to keep her mouth shut about the boor because she was not interested in the affairs of others. Cheryl wanted Andrew to make sure they wouldn't have any problems filming. She asked that there be no scandals between them, as the series is very important to her. For the first time in her life, the girl got the leading role. Cheryl did not want to lose it because of someone else's problems. Andrew didn't want this outcome either. He was also an actor and always gave himself completely to his work. Extending his hand to Cheryl, the guy said that for the sake of the series and for the sake of the girl, he would try to avoid scandals. The actress agreed, and later, albeit belatedly, congratulated the couple on the beginning of their relationship. The next day, Eugene, Andrew, Julia, and Sebastian gathered in Principal Violet's office. Placing the photo on the table, Lowe said the photo of the mystery girl was taken in front of the entrance to the parking lot. It was not possible to capture her face, but the stranger looked very confident. She easily avoided the cameras, and this was all that was captured. Andrew asked if there were any reporters or paparazzi there, but Julia was convinced that there was no one else there. The more Sebastian looked at this photo, the more he became convinced that all this was very strange, since usually such fans like to leave some kind of traces. Eugene asked the man why he thought that. He replied that it was like some kind of performance, and he was sure that the heroes would not be able to catch her anyway. Andrew suggested calling the police, but there were too few leads, and even if they told everything, there was no evidence. Sebastian said that first of all, security needs to be strengthened, since information could leak out of the company. He decided to check everything there while it was still there. Eugene asked Julia to carefully review the guest list, and she accepted the task and prepared to leave. However, Sebastian approached her, saying that if the girl found something, she could contact him. He would be waiting. Eugene didn't understand what the man was waiting for, but Lowe coldly replied that they needed to get to the bottom of the truth. Clapping her hands, the salon director demanded that they return to work. and then asked when the next bride was due to arrive. As it turned out, the guest was Audrey, which Eugene did not expect. The girl didn't like the offered dress, and the heroine didn't understand why, because it was the dress that her sister had her eye on earlier. Audrey replied that in life it was completely different. The details were as if alive, but they were all the same. Eugene disagreed, saying that they were all different. Angrily, the heroine asked what kind of dress Audrey wanted then, and she thought about it. The girl wanted something that would make her the center of attention, even in the dark. A sparkling beaded one would look good, but one made entirely of lace would also work. Lost in her dreams, Audrey decided that she would look good in any dress. Eugene said that, at this rate, her sister would never live to see the wedding, because she couldn't even decide on the style of the dress. But the girl didn't understand what it had to do with her, because the owner of the salon couldn't help her. Audrey said that instead of blaming her, the heroine would have been better off bringing the list of dresses again. But the latter stated that her sister cannot do whatever she wants. Turning to Julia, Eugene asked to return the chosen dress back, and then she added that her assistant should show it to other brides who had booked it. The heroine said that this is a new product of the season, so there is a high demand for it, so the clients will be delighted. Suddenly, Audrey called out to them, asking them to wait. She was indignant that Eugene was offering the dress to others when she hadn't even tried it on. The sister replied that the girl asked to change the dress on the list, which meant she wouldn't wear this one. Audrey was indignant because until she decided, no one would try it on. Suddenly, the phone vibrated in her hand. While Eugene was puzzled by the girl's behavior, she was distracted by the message that came in. Audrey giggled and said that it seemed like her sister should be worried, since her boyfriend had cheated on her with another woman. The article described rumors about Cheryl and Andrew's affair. All the fans discussed the published post and the actors' relationship. At Andrew's company office, employees were busy debunking the false information in the article. Sebastian asked if they couldn't contact Cheryl's agency, and the assistant replied that they were deliberately ignoring all calls. The man grabbed his head, saying that he was going to go crazy. Andrew, who had barely made it into the building, approached the president and asked what was happening with the situation. Sebastian said Cheryl's agency hasn't responded, but he plans to settle things with a new article. The man was amazed that Andrew cared so much about his girlfriend, and the guy said that he was going to call her anyway. Eugene happily picked up the phone, smiling at the voice of her beloved. She was pacing around the office, and Andrew asked if the girl was probably shocked by that article, and then apologized. He asked not to worry, as the company would soon publish all the explanations, while Eugene asked the guy not to ask for forgiveness, as he had nothing to do with it. Smiling, the actor sincerely thanked his beloved for her understanding. Andrew said that it was time for him to go. Eugene, having said goodbye, promised to meet soon. Julia, who was standing behind, asked if the director was okay. The heroine answered that everything was fine. The actors had the main berths in the series. It is not surprising that there are many rumors about their relationship. The assistant agreed, saying that if there were no rumors about the actors' real relationship, then the filming could be considered a failure. Julia continued, saying that all the TV shows with such gossip were successful. Suddenly, her phone vibrated in her pocket. The writer was the company's vice president, Andrew, who announced that the new article had already been published. Lowe showed the phone to the director, passing on the information. Now there was no reason to worry. If Cheryl published the same article, the rumors would die down. Eugene was very happy about this news. Meanwhile, at Cheryl's agency, the actress was screaming about why they weren't letting her publish an article with an explanation. The director exhaled, asking if the girl really didn't understand or was just pretending. The man then added that they would use this to promote the actress. It was difficult for the small agency to promote Cheryl in other ways. It's been 10 years since the girl's debut, and she's received a leading role for the first time. That's why you have to hold on tightly to it. This opportunity is one in a million. The man said that the peaceful advancement was over, And if Cheryl couldn't handle scandals of this kind, then there was no point in continuing her career. He ordered the girl to be patient if she didn't want to get a small role again. As Cheryl left the office, she began to cry. She didn't want to become famous in this way. She had just started to advance her career. Gritting her teeth, the heroine decided to call Andrew. Cheryl asked the actor to meet briefly before filming. She needed to tell him something. The next day, the girl apologized for asking not to create problems. But in the end, she caused the inconvenience herself. Turning to Andrew, she asked him to convey her regrets to director Violet. The guy asked him not to apologize because it was not the actress's fault. However, Cheryl believed that it was all because of her, since the director of the company decided to use this chance for the girl's career growth, so he forbade her to publish an article with an explanation. The actress wanted to be recognized for her good acting. She didn't need popularity because of scandals. Cheryl approached Andrew and asked for the contact details of a journalist. The guy replied that he had someone in mind who could most likely help, and the girl thanked the actor. Andrew asked if everything would be okay, since Cheryl could get hurt because of this, but she understood the risk she was taking. For the girl, this didn't matter, because actors who became famous not because of good acting were losers. Meanwhile, the same stranger who was spotted by the cameras was sitting in a cafe and reading comments about Andrew. She couldn't understand how people dared to think that the actor was dating Cheryl. The girl was arguing in the comments when suddenly someone sent her photo evidence in which Andrew allegedly kisses the actress. The stranger became enraged and slammed her fist on the table. She kept insisting that Andrew belonged only to her. Later, Adele dropped by Eugene's work, bringing a camera with her. The girl said that she came to discuss the latest news, and then asked if she had disturbed the heroine. Eugene replied that everything was fine, and she was glad to meet, then asked if Adele might have needed the photographs for a novel. Andrew's sister said that today's photo shoot was just an excuse. She came for another reason. Adele said she saw that article with her brother, then adding that compared to Eugene, Andrew was a real brat. Adele was indignant. Couldn't he be more careful when he had such a girlfriend? Her brother behaved simply terribly. Smiling, the girl told Eugene to break up with him right now and go to her. The heroine tried to explain that everything was fine and had already left the room with an explanation. But Adele continued, stating that her interlocutor should not have met Andrew at all. His sister believed that even though the scandal was short-lived, Eugene was still in great pain, and his heart was breaking. Adele decided that it was also her fault, since she should have taught her brother to be more careful. Smiling, Eugene replied that, in her opinion, Andrew grew up so kind thanks to his older sister, who also thanked the heroine for taking the poor guy under her wing. Taking the camera, Adele said it was time to go, as they needed to take a couple of photos before it got dark. The salon director wanted to offer her more tea, but the girl refused, saying that she had convinced him that Eugene was fine, so it was time to go to work. Smiling, Adele said that if any problems arose, the heroine could always contact them, because Andrew's sisters were on her side. Eugene sincerely thanked the girl. At the same time, the actor and the vice president were in Violet's hall. Approaching Andrew, Sebastian asked if everything was okay. Maybe the guy couldn't remember the text. He replied that this was not so. It was just too crowded in the room. However, the man could not ask the guards to leave. Since there were too many journalists, they did not let them into the salon. Andrew understood this, but he still wanted there to be fewer people. Sebastian replied that it was all down to Cheryl's agency, which was unwilling to release an article explaining it. The man sent his employees there because the company did not even answer calls. Andrew asked what he was going to do, and Sebastian said they had no other choice. The hero couldn't leave everything as it was. The man tried to talk to Cheryl, but she didn't answer either. Andrew said that it was worth waiting, because he was sure that the girl was not the type who needed something like that. Sebastian didn't understand if the rumors were true and asked the actor about it, who replied that it was not so. Suddenly, he received a message on his phone containing a photo of the front door of his house. This really scared Andrew. The hero felt ill, but Sebastian managed to catch him and ask what happened. When the man saw the photo, he asked if this was Andrew's apartment. Sebastian thought it was the one who wrote on the car and asked for the door code, and then decided to strengthen security near the house. The man said that this offender was definitely different from the previous ones. Cheryl, meanwhile, went into the empty bridal salon. Closing the door behind her, the girl took out a business card with the number Andrew had given her. She had to call it. The actress was very happy when she heard the cherished "hello" on the other end of the line. While Cheryl was talking to a journalist, someone snuck up on her. The man asked the girl to tell more about what happened. As soon as the actress began to speak, a stranger's hand reached out to her. Someone's hand pushed Cheryl down. The girl flew down the stairs, landing at the very end. The reporter tried to contact the actress after the silence, but no one answered. At the top of the stairs stood that crazy stranger, asking who wanted to take her man. Later, the crime scene was cordoned off by the police. One of the employees approached Detective Carter, saying that he had brought company representatives to him. They turned out to be Eugene and Julia, worried about what had happened. Carter introduced himself, saying that he was investigating the incident. The girl stated her position and tried to find out what was going on. The words that Cheryl fell from the emergency stairs shocked the heroines. Now the actress was dying. They had to have an emergency operation. Eugene was very worried, not believing what was happening. The detective replied that it was the first time he encountered something like this. The girl hoped that it was just an accident and not a crime, but Carter said that it was not yet known. The detective asked to see the security footage to advance the investigation, while Eugene asked Julia to take him to the security room. But the assistant said there were no cameras at the scene. The heroine was surprised. Because she had recently asked to install additional ones, Julia agreed, since the installation was in progress. After calling security, Lowe found out that the only cameras that had not been installed were on the emergency staircases. Detective Carter and Eugene couldn't believe something like this. In the office, the girl, Andrew, Julia, and Sebastian watched the news report that said that Cheryl had been involved in an accident in Violet's salon. Some claimed that it happened at the filming location of the series. The actress was in critical condition in intensive care, and the police were currently trying to determine whether it was an accident or a crime. Eugene said that things had gone too far, to which Sebastian agreed wholeheartedly. The heroine asked Julia if she had contacted the visitors to explain the situation. The assistant replied that she had already done so, and the guests fully understood the circumstances. Turning to Andrew, Eugene asked if the incident would make filming difficult. The actor replied that they were allowed to take a break for a week, since the absence of one of the main characters would make filming a sequel problematic. Andrew said that perhaps the director was already looking for another person for this role. The heroine did not understand whether he was really going to replace the main character. The guy explained that they were under pressure from producers and investors. There was simply no other choice. Eugene was upset, remembering how Cheryl was striving for the award for Best Actress. The heroine asked what condition the actress was in now. Andrew, shaking his head, replied that she must still be unconscious. Sebastian asked if there was anyone suspicious near the scene of the incident. Julia said that this could be the case, since there is a hall next to the exit, and there is video surveillance in the elevators opposite. A concerned Eugene asked if their employees had been checked, and the assistant confirmed that they had been cleared of all suspicion. Some of the workers said they saw Cheryl alone as she headed towards the emergency exit. Andrew's phone rang, and there was a reporter on the other end of the line. Hearing Cheryl's name in the dialogue, the heroes immediately turned around with interest. Speaking on the phone, Andrew asked the journalist to send everything he knew as soon as possible. Eugene asked what it was about. The actor said that he introduced Cheryl to a reporter. She tried to tell him the truth about the scandal, but it was at that moment that everything happened. The heroine asked if the reporter had heard anything during the call. Andrew replied that apparently he had, and that there was even a recording. The journalist just sent it to his boyfriend. The actor suggested listening to it together. The recording contained Cheryl's voice, who wanted to talk about the scandal with Andrew. The journalist asked to explain the details of what happened, and the girl agreed. Cheryl began to tell her story when suddenly she heard a scream. Julia was shocked by what she heard, saying that at that moment she could hear a fall, but Sebastian asked to listen to the end. Suddenly, another unfamiliar voice came from the phone. The girl on the recording said that someone tried to take her man. Eugene, analyzing what she heard, thought that there was definitely another person at the scene. At the same time, at Cheryl's agency, the boss was furious. He couldn't believe that the main actress would be changed. His assistant said that the girl was in serious condition, so they would take someone else for her role. The man could not allow this. He demanded that the heroine be brought to consciousness and returned to the set. Suddenly, the phone rang. The chairman on the other end said that he heard that they wanted to replace the actors, and because of this, there would be a big fine. However, the interlocutor said that he knew a way to stop everything. The director did not believe it, but the chairman said that they were on good terms, and he had no reason to lie. However, first the man had to listen carefully to his interlocutor. Andrew and Sebastian were looking at an article that said the agency had stated that what happened to Cheryl was due to the actress's lax security. The guy couldn't believe it, because there was evidence that there was someone else there. Besides, the girl hadn't woken up yet, and they were already talking about some reason. Sebastian said it appeared as if the agency had staged the whole thing and deliberately distributed the article. Andrew asked again, and the man replied that he had been through something similar before. In the film industry, all rumors cease at one moment. The production company would have liked to simply continue to produce the series, even though the ratings were good. No one wanted any unnecessary hype. Sebastian said he knew it sounded scary, but that was the reality. Andrew wanted to tell the police about the audio recording, but it was too risky. Then the actor could have testified, since he filmed with Cheryl. But Sebastian recalled that he had already had a scandal with the actress. The man said that this could backfire if something went wrong. Then Eugene could also get hurt. Andrew thought he had been hasty, but for him this was not an easy situation. Sebastian patted the actor on the head, asking him to wait until he found more evidence. Andrew asked him why he changed the schedule. The man replied that it was to collect more evidence. Julia, meanwhile, was at work, yawning, sitting in front of the computer. The girl turned around at the sound of the door opening, and a hand holding drinks appeared in the doorway. Sebastian came to see her and wished the heroine a good day. Julia wondered what the vice president was doing there, since there was no filming today, and he replied that he had come to help Chief Lowe. The man handed over a cup of coffee, saying that Eugene had said that the assistant was looking for CCTV footage on her own. Sebastian said it must be hard to do all this alone, but Julia said she had been assigned to share the duties with Violet's staff. Lowe replied that everything was fine, because these were their company's affairs and not the vice president's concerns. The girl said that he could return and at the same time look at the cameras with the staff. And then Julia thanked Sebastian for the coffee. The man was not about to give up, saying that he believed they needed to work together. After all, they didn't know that what happened to Cheryl wasn't an accident. Sebastian knew everyone on the set by sight, so it would be easy to check. Julia wanted to object, but the man interrupted her, asking if they could watch the video surveillance file together. The girl said that Sebastian would have a lot of problems, but he replied that he decided to show his strength, which surprised Chief Lowe. Looking at the man, she thought that he was so focused, although he could probably delegate this to someone else. Julia decided that Sebastian was just perfect. After 3 hours of watching, the man noticed something strange in the recording. However, the girl said that they were just their employees, embarrassing the president. After another 4 hours, the heroes were already quite tired. Sebastian couldn't imagine that Violet would be so busy, but Julia replied that it was a given. since the place was the best bridal salon in the country. The hero's eyes hurt from such a long load. They closed them to rub, when suddenly that same stranger walked into the recording. Julia was about to get ready and leave, but the man stopped her. Sebastian invited the girl to have dinner with him, but her phone rang. Lo's child called. After answering the call, Julia addressed the speaker as a son, dashing the man's hopes. The child asked his mother for pork cutlets, and she promised to buy them. After apologizing, Julia said that she would leave first, since her son was waiting for her. Sebastian offered to give the girl a ride, recommending a good restaurant with pork cutlets. In the car, the man was happily humming a song, and Julia couldn't understand how it happened that she actually bought them together with this man. Sebastian asked if the girl's baby seemed to like this dish. The heroine said that after work, she went with her son to eat in all sorts of establishments. There was a pork cutlet restaurant near their house, and the mother and child dined there several times, which were good memories for the son. Julia thanked the man, saying that it would be difficult to wait for the order alone. Sebastian replied that the baby must be strong, because he looked like Chief Lo. The girl must have been very happy. The girl turned to the window and smiled. Arriving at Julia's house, she thanked Sebastian again, and he said that next time they would go to a restaurant where the dish would be even tastier. Lo thought that he was probably a fan of pork cutlets. The man agreed, smiling and answering that he still had a lot of free time. As Julia thought, it was a pleasure to spend time with Sebastian. Having said goodbye, the girl left, while the hero watched her go. Sebastian hoped that they would be able to eat together next time. A few days later, while filming the series, the director couldn't understand why the staff hadn't found a new actress for the role. He put pressure on the director, saying that Cheryl's agency had already announced her departure and that he needed to hurry. The man replied that because of the accident, no one was in a hurry to take the role. The director said that everything had died down a long time ago, so couldn't anyone be found. Suddenly, the man received a call saying that they had found a candidate for this role. The director happily said that they had just hired a new actress and asked them to prepare a press release immediately. The director didn't understand who it was because most of the girls refused. The director promised to surprise him and began preparing a headline for the press release. The virtuoso took on the role, reuniting with the gifted actor Andrew Will after 15 years. At home, the guy asked Eugene to help with the rehearsal. Andrew said that the actress was eventually replaced, and Cheryl's agency announced her departure. The heroine understood that this was an important shoot, and it was necessary to quickly decide what to do next, and then asked who had been cast in the role. The actor replied that he didn't know yet because the director said it was a surprise. Andrew made cute eyes and said that there was a big moment in the next episode, and it would be hard to do with a new actress. So he wanted to practice with Eugene first. The girl thought that the actor might have a hard time due to the change of colleague, and agreed. Andrew pointed out the moment where we need to start, where he and the main character had quite a long dialogue. Eugene wanted to get started already, and the guy said that he had only good intentions. The girl began to read the dialogue. Her heroine did not know how her lover could do this to her, because he said that he loved only her, or loved her. Andrew's character didn't understand what she was talking about, because he only loves the heroine. How could his heart not belong to the girl? Eugene feigned displeasure, saying that she had no idea what was wrong with his heart, since the guy had never really hugged her. Moreover, he never even kissed me. Hero Andrew said that he would do it right now then. Eugene tried to convince herself that it was all just a game. Andrew hugged the girl and pushed her onto the sofa. She tried not to get nervous, repeating that none of this was real. The actor put his arm around the heroine's waist and addressed her by name. And then, freezing, he asked permission to continue. Looking at her lover, Eugene responded with consent. The next day, Andrew was already on the set. Sebastian called him, saying that he found nothing on the cameras, and Eugene was surprised how this man could ruin the whole atmosphere with one call. The girl's phone also vibrated. Julia was talking to her, Turning to the actor, Eugene asked if he thought Sebastian and the assistant had become closer. However, Andrew did not answer. A site employee ran up to the guy, trying to find out if he had seen a new actress there. By that time, the girl playing the lead role approached Andrew. Seeing a familiar face, the guy froze. The new actress was an old friend of his. Coming closer, she hugged Andrew, saying that they hadn't seen each other for a long time. In Eugene's office, Julia said it was that same actress, Jane Urin. In the past, she became famous for her child role. Julia said that if the actress had not gone abroad, she would have been successful, and then added that she was her fan. The assistant said that 15 years ago, Jane had already starred in a joint project with Andrew. In that film, the two played opposite roles, moving the audience to tears, and they became widely known as child actors. That same year, they took home all the children's awards at the film festival. Eugene remembered seeing Jane in an advertisement when she was very little. However, the heroine was upset that there was no longer a word about Cheryl in the articles, as if she had not starred in the project at all. Julia suggested to the director to go watch the filming and relax. As they went downstairs, they saw Jane cuddled up to Andrew. However, the actor was not at all happy about this meeting, not understanding what the girl was doing here. Jane was surprised that the guy didn't know yet, and then said that she was filming this series with him. The director asked the characters to look into the camera to take a photo for next week's episode. He asked to stand closer. Andrew tried to portray a happy smile and waved his hand. But Jane pressed herself even closer to the actor, grabbing his hand.